is the first time this rookie has been under this kind of pressure. The ball is spotted. The kick is up. It's no good! He missed it! He missed it! Here we go. Take a big deep breath. 4 seconds left. Spotted. It's picked up by Hutton. Hutton's running with the football. It's over. And a heartbreaking defeat for the Eagles.
For the Philadelphia Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings, the season has reached an early and emotional crossroads. For two teams coming off heartbreaking losses, tonight is a critical test.
What we got to do now is be that team that can get that winning streak going again.
We don't know how good we can be. All we got to do is stay together and keep fighting.
Come to you from the Metrodome in the heart of downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota, hard by the banks of the Mississippi. No matter your means of arrival, we're glad to have all of you with us tonight for this significant NFC battle between the visiting Philadelphia Eagles and the homestanding Minnesota Vikings. And good evening, everybody. I'm Verne Lundquist along with Pat Haden and Mark May. Welcome to this part of the country. This is a very important Sunday night September meeting between these two teams who are not traditional rivals. They last met in '92. They last met here in 1988. Minnesota won its first 2 games of the year. The Vikings have now lost 2. And they need a victory tonight to stay 2 back of the undefeated Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Philadelphia has lost by 1 and won by 1 in their last 2 outings. They had a bye week last week, during which they had to think about that last-minute heartbreaking loss to the Cowboys on Monday night. And Pat Haden, I would think that Ray Rhodes, now in his 3rd year, has never had to call upon more to get his team back in even keel.
Well, you know, Verne, it's painful anytime you lose in the National Football League, but you can't think of a more painful way to lose against a division rival on a Monday Night Football, and a game you really should have won. And it has been a tough 2 weeks for Ray Rhodes and his Philadelphia Eagles, but he spent the past 2 weeks trying to get beyond that loss 2 weeks ago and accentuating the positive with his team. They're playing good team defense. They're running the ball well. They're playing hard, and they're playing good offense at the end of the ball game. And as I mentioned, they're running the ball well, and that starts with Ricky Watters for the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, off to a very good start this season. I think Ricky Watters now, today, is the best combination back in the National Football League. I'm talking about a guy who can beat you as a receiver, a guy who can beat you as a runner. You see what he did last year. He led the NFL in total yards from scrimmage. So it starts with Ricky Watters. Mark will see some of Garner tonight as well. They'll use him both the first and the second half. And while their running game is solid, Minnesota's offense can be absolutely explosive.
Well, Pat, explosive may be an understatement. This offense can gain the yardage in bunches. And last week, they scored 25 points in the second half alone against the Green Bay Packers. But they're led on the ground by running back Robert Smith, who leads the NFL in 6.6 yards per carry. What scares the Philadelphia Eagle defense most is his cutback ability. He may be one of the best in the NFL. At the quarterback position, Brad Johnson. He's already passed for over 1,000 yards, and he's on a 4,000-yard season hunt. But he's got 2 great ones to throw to. One is Chris Carter. All he does is catches touchdown passes. And the other one is wide receiver Jake Reed. Now, both of these guys are 6'3" and physical wide receivers, but they're going to be challenged tonight. They're going to be challenged by the defensive quarterbacks of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's Troy Vincent at 6 foot, and the other one is Bobby Taylor at 6'3". And Verne, this looks to be a very physical matchup on the outside.
All right, Mike, thank you. And let's check in now with the 4th member of our commentary group down on the sideline. Here's Craig Sager.
Well, thank you very much, Verne. Coach, 23 points in the first half, 84 in the second. What do you have to do to get this offense going early?
I think early is important for us to really be steady and balance the run and the pass. Take advantage of the field position our defense can give us in the first quarter.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Let's go back up to Verne.
Craig, I think Denny lost his voice last night. Robert Smith leads the league, as Mark just said, 6.6 average. And has been healthy so far this season. Now the Eagles won the toss and have elected to receive. Mitch Berger, punter and place kicker, will kick off for the Philadelphia Eagles. He has been bothered by a hip tendon that he injured in preseason play. Eddie Murray was signed by this Minnesota team earlier this week for place kicking duties. He replaces Greg Davis, and there was some thought that Eddie Murray at 41 years of age might kick off tonight, but Berger has said that he's set to go. Last year, 17 touchbacks for Mitch Berger in his first full season with Minnesota. The deep man here is Deuce Staley, number 22, third-round draft pick, and he will return a punt for the first time this year, assuming it's not a touchback. Berger, who was a draft pick in the 6th round in 1994 of Philadelphia and then released after 5 games, spent 1995 out of football, signed as a free agent a year ago. Minnesota, second home game of the season. They dropped their last one 28-14 to Tampa Bay. Philadelphia has the Redskins next week. They need a win. And here is something that Gary Zorner and the Vikings have done most of the year. They simulate an onside kick. This time they go deep, and here is Deuce Staley at the 4. And Staley out to the 22. Philadelphia last in the NFL in kickoff return yardage, averaging just 17. Tackle made by Pete Bursich, and here is Ty Detmer in his 15th start as Eagle quarterback. Ricky Waters and Kevin Turner in the backfield. Irving Fryer, Michael Timpson, Chris T. Jones will not play tonight. There was some thought he'd be ready. He is not. And Steve Everett anchors the line up front. 1st and 10 from the 21. Slot receiver left side. Detmer across the middle. And it is caught by Mark Say. Number 81, the tackle made by Robert Griffith. Gain of 14. Defensively from Minnesota, Fernando Smith and Derek Alexander on the outside. John Randall will be a handful tonight for the 2 guards. The linebackers, Jeff Brady in the middle, former Cowboy Dixon Edwards and Eddie McDaniel. And the secondary, they had real problems last week. They gave up 5 touchdown passes to Brett Favre and the Packers. Turner out of the backfield this time, a double tight end set. Little swing pass to Ricky Waters, and he is knocked out of bounds as he gets up to the 41-yard line.
Yeah, Ray Rhodes was talking to us last night, and one of the things he said, hey, I'm very interested in my team getting a first possession score. He said, you know, a year ago we were really good on that opening possession. It really set the tone for us all year long, but we have not been good on our first possessions this season.
This Eagle team had a streak of 4 consecutive games last year when they made the playoffs, in which they scored in their first set. Eagles have won the last 3, including the last meeting at Philadelphia in 1992. Handoff, Charles Garner, number 30. And he makes a surprise and early entrance in the ball game.
And very early, when we talked to John Gruden, the offensive coordinator for Philadelphia, he told us that he wanted to get Garner into the game because he's a slashing type runner. He's got a career average of 4.7 yards per carry. And Ricky Waters gets a little upset when he doesn't get those carries, but they've got to have this guy in the ball game because he adds a different dimension to the offense.
In every half, every quarter, he didn't play much in the second half, didn't touch the ball against Dallas.
Waters as a wideout now. Good block from Turner. The pass into the flat is caught by Irving Fryer, and he's out of bounds with a first down at the 45. Kevin Turner, the fullback, an excellent chip block in the backfield.
And he does a great job with that, but what I'm impressed with thus far is how aggressive the offensive play calling has been for the Philadelphia Eagles. They've been passive the past few games. Now they wanted to strike fast, and they wanted to put the ball downfield. You're going to see a block. Watch Kevin Turner in the backfield. Here he comes, a nice chip right there on the defensive end, Fernando Smith, and it allows Ty Detmer to roll out of the pocket and complete that pass.
Chad Lewis is joined by Jimmy Johnson at tight end now. Turner and Waters in the backfield behind Detmer, and the Vikings are blitzing. Detmer sacked across midfield at the 49. Jeff Brady, number 50. Fernando Smith, number 95, and John Randall. They were all holding a meeting at Detmer.
You know, just like we talked about the offense starting well in the first series, this Minnesota defense has not played well this year. They need to make some big plays and some stops, some drives. They start with an early blitz, and Dixon Edwards is the first guy there.
Loss of 6, 2nd and 16. Detmer, slant pattern. Fryer to the 41.
You know, in his 14th year, Irving Fryer can still get open on any kind of route. I mean, just remarkable shape he stays in. He's now caught, he's up at the top, 664 passes in his career for over 10,000 yards. I mean, that was easy pickings there. And again, Minnesota, you mentioned it, Verne, has not done a very good job of getting their hands on receivers, let receivers run free.
Slot man this time on the near side is Freddie Solomon. Detmer across the middle, good pattern. Ricky Waters to the 33 with the first down.
And Pat, you mentioned it in the open. Ricky Waters is the complete running back. Not only runs the ball, he's a great receiver out of the backfield and an excellent blocker. And there you're just able to see he comes across the middle, those tough yards across the middle. He's willing to go in there and catch those balls.
You know, for years, Thurman Thomas, I thought, was the best all-around guy. But I think last couple of years, Ricky Waters has surpassed him as the best guy that can beat you a couple different ways, runner and receiver.
Waters and Turner in the backfield now. Detmer perfect so far, has hit his first 5. First and 10 for the 33. Quick out, left side. Nice coverage. Michael Timpson and Dwayne Washington.
Yeah, that's a good tackle. I mean, how many times do you see a defensive back in the open field miss a tackle that costs you a big play, sometimes a touchdown? But number 20, Dwayne Washington, the whole defensive backfield did not play well against Green Bay a week ago. But I tell you, you get stops like this and coverage like this, you're going to lead your defense pretty well.
Fryer comes near side on 2nd and 9. Washington will work on Michael Timpson on this play. Double tight end set again. Detmer the blitz. McDaniel coming from the near side drew a bead on Detmer.
You know, Mark, I think if Minnesota is going to make a statement defensively, and boy, they need to because they have not played well, Eddie McDaniel is going to be the guy that's going to have to do it for them this year.
Man, he comes off the outside. No one touches him at the top of the screen. He gets a fair shot at quarterback Ty Detmer. They've got to have him. He missed most of last season with a knee injury, and coming with the blitz and putting pressure. Defensive coordinator Foge Fazio right there. He's coming up with a scheme this week to put pressure on Ty Detmer.
3rd and 9, 10th play of the drive. Blitz, intercepted, picked off by Washington, and he can fly. Knocked out of bounds with the counter punch at the 48-yard line. That is his 3rd interception of the season.
You know, 2 good plays on that series by Dwayne Washington. One was the tackle, the physical tackle that he made in the wide receiver, and that time he read the outplay, the outcut perfectly. The ball was thrown early, but a little bit behind in the air. Dwayne Washington steps in front of the receiver, makes a very good catch, and off he goes.
The NFL on TNT is brought to you by Jiffy Lube, the nation's #1 provider of vehicle preventive fluid maintenance with over 1,400 locations ready to serve you conveniently every 3,000 miles. By Applebee's, America's favorite neighbor. You belong at Applebee's. By Foot Locker, where it all begins. By BMW, the ultimate driving machine. And by Slate's Dress Pants.
Okay, this is really good corner play. Watch number 20. First of all, he's looking in at the quarterback to get a feel for what the quarterback's going to do. Sees the 3-step drop, reads the route, and then drives on the ball. Now, the ball was thrown behind him, but it was a good setup by Dwayne Washington to get himself in position to read the route and make the interception.
That is the first interception by Ty Detmer this season. He becomes the last quarterback without an interception. And here is the handoff to Robert Smith up the middle for the Vikings. Across the 50 to the 47. Brad Johnson, in his 2nd season as a starter, took over from Warren Moon last year. And he's got Smith and Evans in the backfield, Jake Reed and Chris Carter, 28 catches each for the early part of the season. And Randall McDaniel is the anchor of this offensive line. Pro Bowls each of the last 8 years. 2nd down and 5. Blitz coming. Johnson into the flat. Robert Smith avoids the first tackle, and Troy Vincent Number 23 comes up and gets him. Defensively for Philadelphia, Harris, the rookie, John Harris, #1 draft pick this year, inactive for the first 3 games, is getting the start tonight. Mamula at the other end. The linebackers, Smith, Thomas, and Willis. And the defensive secondary, Vincent and Taylor. Bobby Taylor, 2 of the 4 sacks for the Eagles this year. 3rd and 6. Chris Walsh comes near side. Slant pattern. Watch Carter go. Chris Carter, no flags, touchdown. Jake Reed, beg your pardon. Instead of 80, and they got him.
For 48 yards did they get him. Tell you, Chris Carter runs a great fade route, and Jake Reed runs a great slant route. And Mark, you talked about these guys being big targets, and boy, are they ever.
And he's virtually wide open on this play. Runs the slant pattern. No one's around him in your screen right there. Where are the Philadelphia defenders? No one's going to touch him as he goes in for the touchdown. But when you've got a guy that's that big, you've got to put your hands on him on the line of scrimmage.
Eddie Murray has just hit his 229th consecutive extra point. It is his first in a year and a half. Vikings lead 7-zip. Jake Reed, his 29th catch of the season on the little slant pattern. And now Eddie Murray is set to kick off this time, as opposed to Mitch Berger. And Murray, Deuce Staley comes over. It bounces once. He's a yard deep. He will ring it out. Staley, a flag is down. Staley's not. Finally at the 35. That's a 36-yard return. Ed Hockley is our referee tonight, and we'll check the infraction. Robert Tate made the tackle. Let's go back and look at the Jake Reed catch.
You know, Philadelphia this year has blitzed a lot of guys and not given up many big plays. There's a big hole right in here with those 2 inside linebackers blitzing. Creates a great hole inside. But Troy Vincent, just as Mark was saying, didn't get his hands on Jake Reed. He just gave a little outside move, comes underneath. That big 6'3" target catches a slant and outruns people. I mean, this, and Mark, you talked about a very dynamic offense.
Now let's take a look at the Foot Locker scoring drive. 48-yard reception, 3 plays.
Does that qualify as a drive? 3 plays? Yeah.
It's a trip to the convenience store.
They can score points. 32 points against a very good Green Bay team last week.
They can also give up points.
Yes, they've done a lot.
180 in the last 5 games. Match you stat for stat. Here's Ricky Waters for a couple.
Coach Fazio has to be happy with this start. There's Brian Billick, the offensive coordinator for the Vikings, and that's Foge. He's got his little wristband there. He writes all the defenses down, signals them in by number. That was the number 6.
Wristband, that thing went halfway up his forearm. Yeah, that's a big cheat sheet.
That is a big cheat sheet.
Used to have those in college, but I guess at USC you didn't have those.
Didn't need them, Mark. Didn't need them.
Had to have them in Pittsburgh, you're saying?
Next play.
2nd and 9. Play fake. Irving Fryer. Nice little spin move in front of Corey Fuller, number 27.
It shows you a different kind of pass routes, though. You see, when Irving Fryer caught that ball, he had his back to the defense, and after you catch it, it's a nice gain, but you're going to get hit, and you're going to go down. The Minnesota Vikings are going to catch the ball on the move on that slant route and go 48 yards for a touchdown. So if you get a receiver in stride on the move, you have a chance today in today's game with the speed of these wide receivers to have a lot of big plays.
3rd and 2. Midway through quarter number 1. Fryer in motion. Blitz. Deep over the head of Fryer, and a flag down back at the 27-yard line. Defensive holding is going to be the call. Denny Green now in his 6th season in playoffs for the first 5 years, but people here keep reminding him.
5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Based on Dwayne Washington, the holding call.
Right here. Number 20.
Oh, I'd say yes, that was a little bit of a hold.
Yeah. You can do it, get your money's worth. You did.
That's a good thing about it. If you're going to get a penalty, you're going to get caught, make it a good one.
Yeah. Were you a connoisseur of the art of holding, Mark? Is that
holding was an art? I was Picasso.
Now that sounds like a Joe Bugle line.
First down and 10. Just shy of the 30-yard line. And the Vikings blitz again. Detmer. Contact made. Yep, Robert Griffith, number 24. Well, they had a problem last week in Green Bay not getting their hands on the receivers. They have corrected their mistake.
They definitely have. Tonight they're making sure that they hit those receivers on the line of scrimmage. And if they're up in press, they're putting both hands on those guys and jamming them on the line.
But you'd rather have it that way, Mark, wouldn't you? I mean, the Green Bay receivers ran free right down the middle of their defense.
Well, it sets a tempo, Pat. It sets the tone. It lets their receivers know that they're not going to be able to get off the line of scrimmage easily.
And here's Ed Hawkins.
Pass interference by the defense. Automatic first down.
Ball moves out to the 36-yard line. Ty Detmer, now 29 years of age, was pulled by Ray Rhodes in the opening game of the season. A loss. Gave way to Rodney Peters. Ricky Waters goes left and is caught for a loss by Ed McDaniel, number 58.
Yeah, that's the guy, Verne, we were talking about a little bit earlier, Ed McDaniel. If this defense is going to get well, I think Ed McDaniel is going to have a lot to do with it. We saw him on a blitz earlier in this game, and that time on a run stop on Ricky Waters. Boy, they missed him a year ago.
Eddie McDaniel spent all of last season on injured reserve with a knee problem. Said the knee's fine now. It's the back, the shoulders, the neck, the arms.
Everything else.
Second and 12. Vikings blitz again. Nice pass to Irving Fryer. Detmer. All the way out across the 50, a 16-yard gain.
I tell you, Mark, I don't know if the way they're trying to handle John Randall. I mean, they're ganging up on John Randall, and generally you have to.
When you've got a rusher like that, you can't let him one-on-one with anyone because he'll jump around up and down the line of scrimmage and find that weak link. And here comes the blitz, but they're still double teaming and pushing him into the pile. If you're going to blitz next to Randall, find a hole that he can get into, and Ricky Waters is even chipping on him out of the backfield.
Irving Fryer already with 4 catches tonight. Waters goes left. Waters has room. Orlando Thomas goes up high to make the tackle. And then takes care of a photographer's assistance on the sideline.
Man,
it's a dangerous job.
Remember, he looked like Hugh McElhaney with the straight arm there. You don't see that much anymore, but an 18-yard run by Ricky Waters.
Is that one of our guys?
Yeah, may well be, but it comes right off the corner. Joe Panis, number 72, leading the way, kind of kicks his man out. Jermaine Mayberry gets a block.
Great stiff arm.
Yeah, that is kind of nice. You don't see that much in the NFL anymore.
Gain of 18, first down, 10 at the 31. Waters again. This time to the 28-yard line.
An emotional, volatile guy, and that, as we both know, can be a double-edged sword. You can fall on your emotion sometimes, fall on the sword, and sometimes the sword pierces the enemy. But, you know, as we talked to him this week, he seems like he has his emotions a little bit more in check than in years past, Verne. I don't know if you agree with that assessment.
I found it interesting last night that he said he's trying to learn how to enjoy his profession, his sport.
Well, we'll find out the true test will come is when he's on the bench for about 2 series to see how he reacts to that.
5:10 to go. Minnesota leading. Eagles, Detmer back. Watch out from behind. Fumble. Picked up by Ian Beckles as Detmer never saw the truck coming. Derek Alexander.
And that's one of the things about Ty Detmer. He's very patient in the pocket. Offensive linemen don't like that. They want you to get rid of that football. But the defense knows this, that he's got a lot of time back there, and he's patient. He's looking downfield. He's not going to run. He's going to look off one receiver. There he goes looking to the second receiver. Now the third receiver. That's too much time. That clock has to go off. You've got to get rid of that football.
Well, they got a fortuitous bounce into the hands of Ian Beckles. They do maintain possession. It'll be 3rd and 8. Detmer had a very controlled game in that Monday night encounter against Dallas. Goes deep left corner, Timpson. And Timpson turned in. The pass was out.
Well, you know, he has been a hunt and peck kind of quarterback thus far this year, but has the capability of getting the ball upfield. And they said they wanted to take some more shots into the end zone.
Now Chris Bonio comes on, and this has got to be a very significant moment for Tommy Hutton. This will be his first hold. This is after he bobbled the snap for the game-winning field goal attempt in Dallas. This will be from 46. Joe Wessel said they went back. Hutton had never dropped the snap in more than 200 field goals and extra points until that Monday night game. This one is perfect, as is the kick. And a nice moment for Tommy Hutton and Chris Bonio. So the Eagles, intercepted on their opening drive, get 3 on their second. 4:10 to go, opening quarter. 4:10 to go, opening quarter, and Minnesota still leading 7-3 after the field goal from Chris Bonio. Now, Lonnie Colicchio signed just this week. He was attending classes at Ole Miss and had been dropped by the Dallas Cowboys. He lost a kicking battle this summer. Signed for this one purpose: kick it as deep as you can. The Eagles have kicked off 12 times this year. They are last in the league in kickoff coverage. And last week, the last game they played, the Cowboys had 3 kickoff returns of over 40 yards. Colicchio will send it deep to Harold Morrow or Robert Tate. And this one will be returned. Tate. Well, all in all, that's as good as they've had since week 2. We'll be right back.
Minnesota leading 7-3 on a 48-yard touchdown pass from Brad Johnson to Jake Reed. Nobody more excited than Ellen Johnson, a very proud mother. You went to all his games when he was 3rd string at Florida State, when he never played here. How has your life changed now that he's the big star?
Oh, it's great. I wish everybody in Black Mountain, North Carolina could be here. It's so exciting. The people here are great. We go out in the parking lots and don't tell Brad I went to the parking lot before the games. He'd be so embarrassed. But I get so excited. It's great.
You talked to him about the game. What's going to happen?
Yeah, he came in this morning. He left the hotel and came in. He said that they were going to throw a bomb the first play, but that didn't happen tonight. But he got the touchdown the second play, so that's all that counts.
Look for the score early. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the game. Let's go back to Verne.
All right, Craig, we will not tell that she was in the parking lot. 1st and 10, draw play up the middle. Robert Smith, big hole. All the way out to the 40-yard line. It's a gain of 15.
You know, the Minnesota Vikings have the balance on offense that every team in the National Football League is seeking. I mean, Jake Reed on one play for 48 yards. You give the ball to Robert Smith. He picks up another 15 yards. And, you know, one of the very few backs in the NFL that can go the entire way every time you hand him the ball.
Well, he was a quarter-mile track star at Ohio State. On their mile relay team, he is a speedster. The problem has been durability in his career, especially the last couple of years. Here's a carry out to the 43-yard line. Ranks first in the NFC: Johnson, Reed, Smith, Chris Carter.
Their problems are on defense. You know, I'm not saying there's Brian Billick in the background, the offensive coordinator. You know, the Vikings aren't the best team in the league. I'm not saying that, but they can beat anybody. Both these teams can beat anybody on a Sunday.
Richard Dent on the floor now, on the field rather. It's a floor. Here's a little option play to Smith. My goodness. Darren Smith knocks Robert Smith out of bounds.
When you look at this offense, and Brian Billick has just about every piece of offense in his bag. Anything that you could think of, Pat, he's got the option. He goes downfield, those big wide receivers, he'll throw to the tight end. He told us he may go some 2 tights and 3 wide receivers just to spread out that Eagle defense to find out what they're going to do. But he has everything in his bag of tricks.
Yeah, disciple of Bill Walsh. As a matter of fact, he and Bill Walsh wrote a book together this past summer.
Who got top billing?
Bill.
No doubt about that.
3rd and 3. 3-man rush. They drop 8. David Palmer into the backfield, the 3rd down specialist out of Alabama, and William Thomas, number 51, makes the stop, but that appears to be short of the 1st down. It is, and 4th down will be coming up. And Mitch Berger comes on to punt.
And there's Joe Wessel, the special teams coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, and they have really struggled on special teams, and they spent their entire 2 weeks off really rededicating themselves to special teams, and he has put a bunch of new players on special teams.
Joe Wessel last year was Cincinnati. Danny Smith was the special teams coach of Philadelphia. Last couple of years he was reassigned. Here is Mitch Berger.
Watch the lights!
And they'll take the delay of game. Gary Zonner. Just in case they may have had something on there. I'm not sure. Or were they just trying to draw them off?
You know, Gary,
Delay of the game by the offense. 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
Gary was, you mentioned earlier, he's got a lot of special teams coaches confounded around the league because he lines up in an onside kick thing almost every time they kick off. One of these times you just think he may try to execute it.
Now Berger, born and raised in Vancouver, British Columbia, collegiately played at Colorado, was recalling for us yesterday that his first punt for the Philadelphia Eagles was returned by Dave Meggett, 68 yards for a touchdown in Giant Stadium. Here's Mark Say. Out across the 20 to the 23-yard line. A 47-yard punt and 14 on the return. Well, next week, we're going into Chicago, Soldier Field. It's going to be Mike Ditka's official homecoming as the New Orleans Saints, led by their new coach, Mike Ditka. Don't they love seeing films like this? It'll be Ditka and the Saints going in to take on Wanstead and the Bears next Sunday night.
You know, even with Michael Jordan there, I think the city is still Mike Ditka's town.
The man made for a city.
Yeah.
1st and 10. Waters. John Randall, number 93, and Derek Alexander, number 90. Get there?
This is an area where the Minnesota Vikings defense has to improve on. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL, averaging 144 yards a game on the ground, giving up with their defense. And there's Foch Fazio, the defensive coordinator. He wants the guys to attack, and they usually have 8 men in the box in 1st down.
Charlie Garner comes in now, 2nd and 11. Detmer with the audible. Flyers in a slot right. Blitz coming. Detmer deep left side, and that one is not going anywhere. Orlando Thomas is the closest player to it.
Coming into this game, we talked about Emmett Thomas, the defensive coordinator of Philadelphia, and how they blitzed Green Bay and they had success, and how they blitzed Dallas and had success. And none of us thought about Foch Fazio. There's Emmett right there. And none of us thought about Foch Fazio coming out and giving them a little taste of their own medicine. That's what he's doing tonight. Almost on every play when it's 2nd down, they're blitzing. They're coming after Ty Detmer.
It's reminiscent of what Chicago did early against Dallas today. Boy, did Troy Aikman take some kind of beating in that game. 3rd and 11. Detmer steps up, has a chance to run, and he will come up short of the 1st down at the 32-yard line. So the Eagles will be forced to give it up as we near the end of quarter number 1 from the Metrodome. This game not sold out. Roger Hedrick, chief executive officer of the franchise, telling us they thought they'd have about 58,000 tonight. At the Metrodome in Minneapolis, end of 1. Vikings lead it on a 48-yard touchdown catch by Jake Reed. Welcome back to the Metrodome. Verne Lundquist, Pat Haden, Mark May. Start of the quarter number 2. Tommy Hutton on to punt. 42.5-yard average so far this year. And David Palmer waits for it at the 24-yard line. 7-3. Jake Reed's 48-yard touchdown, the difference in the game. And Hutton has it taken by Palmer at the 18. He takes a pretty good pop at the 25, keeps his feet, and gets back to the 32-yard line. A 16-yard return for David Palmer after a 50-yard punt. The tackle made by Darian Connor. Time called. We'll be right back.
The NFL on TNT is brought to you by GMC. With a complete line of exceptional sport utilities, pickups, and vans, find out how GMC can put you comfortably in command. And by Applebee's, America's favorite neighbor.
1st and 10. Vikings have the ball at their own 33-yard line and a 7-3 lead. Jeff Christie up and over the ball. Brad Johnson has his backs in the eye. Greg DeLong shifts out of the backfield and lines up in a wing to the left. Johnson, a little pressure. He's mobile. And at 6'5", he is pretty elusive and gets it out near the 40-yard line. Does Brad Johnson, who backed up Charlie Ward and Casey Weldon back at Florida State University. Theme of the game thus far.
Well, I think it's been Minnesota's defense. Ed McDaniels played very well and had a sack, stopped Ricky Waters a couple times. The interception by Dwayne Washington. This is a team that's been giving up a lot of big plays, but they've played well so far.
Big plays, a necessity mark for the Eagles.
Yes, it was the interception by Dwayne Washington, and then turned it around, the 48-yard touchdown reception by Jake Reed from Brad Johnson. Those are the two big plays, and Philly hasn't had any. Minnesota's had two.
Well, we thought it would be a teeter-totter today, and thus far, 7-3. It's held true. 2nd down and 4 from the 39. Evans out of the backfield. Smith cuts it back as he starts right. Crosses the 40 and gets to the 41. John Harris makes the tackle. Jeff Christie led the way. At the end of the first quarter.
Well, look at, you talk about big plays again. Minnesota's yards per play, 11 yards per play. And, you know, that's how they've scored those 32 points against Green Bay a week ago as well. It's been defensively, it's been the problem, but they've played well defensively tonight.
3rd and 2 here. Little flip to Robert Smith.
Good tackle.
Brian Dawkins, number 20, with a nice open field tackle.
And his coaches appreciate that, and so his team. That is, I think, the biggest test for a defensive back is tackling a guy in the open field. And Brian Dawkins in his 2nd year has come on to play very good defense for Philadelphia this year. Good cover guy for a free safety, and as you saw right there, a very good tackle.
Now Mitch Berger will come on to punt. And Mark Say waits for it at the 15-yard line. Berger, beautiful, high arcing punt, taken at the 3. And Say with a chance for a return. Out to the 31-yard line, a 27-yard return of a 57-yard punt. Mark Say, Eagles trail 7-3. They've got the football at their own 32. This Tuesday, go back to a time when players like Brett Favre and Troy Aikman were young boys dreaming of greatness. Watch the premiere of the outstanding NFL film special Before They Were Pros, Tuesday, 8 Eastern on TNT. Play action, Detmer puts it out there for Irving Fryer, his 5th catch tonight. And what a wonderful way for Fryer to celebrate his 35th birthday, which is today.
Irving Fryer and my youngest daughter, Bryce, have something in common. They're both born today. She's 4, but Irving's 35. And here you're going to see him on the outside, driving and watch him plant and turn in. Great mechanics by Irving Fryer. He's the guy that'll go across the middle and make those big catches for you, and he's their go-to guy in the Philadelphia offense.
1st down and 10 after the gain of 14. The backfield, left side, Charlie Garner, number 30. Spells Ricky Waters and gets a big play.
Yeah, John Gruden, the offensive coordinator, was calling Charlie Garner instant offense for us. And the thing about Charlie Garner is you have this, John Gruden, the offensive coordinator, you have to change your pursuit angles on him. I mean, Ricky Waters is a very good runner, clearly in his own right, but Charlie Garner is a different kind of runner. A change of pace guy, a lot quicker, and you have to change your angle to tackle him.
2nd down and 1 after the gain of 9. Detmer, left side, caught by Michael Timpson for the 1st down, and he is knocked out of bounds by Dwayne Washington at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, kind of interesting, Philadelphia's play selection. Though they have only have 7 runs now and 16 passes. And Mark, you were mentioning Minnesota's defense has been not particularly good about stopping the run. 145 yards a game they give up.
Well, it's surprising when you've got a Ricky Waters and a Charlie Garner in the backfield. You figured they would keep feeding these guys the ball until Minnesota gave up defensively.
Third time they've been inside the 40 tonight. One time intercepted, one time a field goal. Here's Detmer, one hopper at the feet of Irving Fryer, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
And that's the knock about Ty Detmer. It's been its height. If you can get someone in his face, Minnesota blitzed that time. They had penetration and they got their hands up in the air. If you can get someone in his face or get your hands up, you're going to be able to knock the ball down on him.
Yeah, I think that ball got tipped, which leads to that tip play against Dallas that really cost them the game. Wasn't called.
Yes, Mike Mamula with the tip, and they called interference. Here's Waters. Boy, does he take a pop from Derek Alexander. Number 90, it'll bring up 3rd down and long.
Well, Derek Alexander has played well tonight, Mark. A guy that, you know, these are the kind of guys, he's in his 3rd year, former #1 pick, that have to emerge and start playing better in that, you know, 3rd, 4th, 5th year if your defense is going to get better. He is one of those guys. Last year's #1 draft pick, Dwayne Clemens, was inactive for tonight.
3rd and 7. And Fryer goes right against Corey Fuller. Here comes the blitz. Detmer dances up, goes across the middle. Timpson for the 1st down at the 25-yard line. There is a flag in the area of the offensive line.
Well, maybe a late hit, too, on the quarterback. Yep. Personal foul. Ty Detmer is a young man from Texas. And, Verne, you know guys from Texas are awfully tough guys.
Yes, we are.
Except for you. There are notable exceptions. But, I mean,
Personal foul, roughing the passer by the defense, number 99. Helmet-to-helmet contact with the quarterback. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's the rookie Stalin Colonnay out of Boston College.
Well, I think they called the wrong number. I think that was on Fernando Smith. They called 99, but it was on 95, Fernando Smith.
And Ed Hockley will mark the ball or march off the yardage inside the 15 and place the ball down at the 12.
You mentioned this being Denny Green's 6th year. The amazing thing, since he's been a head coach here, there have been 40 NFL head coaching changes.
1st and 10. Detmer with the audible. Tries to fire the flag thrown of Freddie Solomon, the intended receiver, and Dwayne Washington is going to be called for the push.
I just think these Minnesota corners seem to play a lot better when they're up close, you know, and on guys, getting their hands on guys. When they lay off, it seems like they're getting problems.
Pass interference by the defense, number 20. Automatic 1st down.
And Pat, defensive coordinator Foge Fazio wanted them to be more aggressive, but that's the 3rd penalty on the secondary, and you can't have that in the game. You want them to be up there in guys' faces, but you don't want them to cost your team a touchdown, and now they've got a 1st down inside the 10.
And looking at that replay, I'm not so sure that was interference. That looked like a pretty good defensive play.
Nevertheless.
Yes, thank you.
1st and goal, left side. Kevin Turner tries to lead Waters through, and he gets to about the 6th. As the noise level goes up here in the Metrodome, Pete Persich with that tackle at middle linebacker. Ray Rhodes had 6 large speakers placed around the practice field this week back in Philadelphia to try and simulate the noise factor they'd have here.
And as a player, I remember Joe Gibbs, he tried that, but guys were getting upset because some guys wanted rap music, some guys wanted, you know, country western music, and it really didn't help us that much.
Anybody vote for Frank Sinatra?
No. I think one of those older guys did, like Dave Butts or Joe Theismann.
You really are hip, Verne.
Hey, me and Paul Harvey, you said it last week. Time has been called. Time is called by the Vikings as the Eagles threaten, and they've got the ball at the 6-yard line. Ty Detmer comes over to chat with Ray Rhodes and the rest of the coaching staff.
Boy, Ray was, as he always is, very, very intense, and had some time this off season, or this off week, to go to one of his daughter's soccer games.
Well, his daughter Raven is now 12 years old, playing soccer for the first year, and Ray was telling us yesterday that he went out to watch Raven play, and she's not as aggressive as he would like, and he was really getting on her case. Raven, go after the ball.
Yeah, attack the ball.
He taught me a valuable lesson. My oldest daughter is 8, and she's in a soccer league, Abra, and she's very passive about going after the ball. When I heard Ray, he's running around the sideline screaming at her to get the ball, I said, I learned a valuable lesson. I'll never do that.
Well, the game was a tie 3-3. Raven thought that was great. Ray said, well, you didn't win. She said, wait till we see what you do in Minnesota. Into the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Chad Lewis, rookie free agent from Brigham Young University, who, as part of his Mormon faith, served a 2-year mission after college ball, number 89.
Yeah, and this is a guy that they're going to try to feature more and more as the year goes along. That's too high even for him, and he is 6'6". But this is where John Gruden wants his offense to be more aggressive.
Into the corner, wide open, Fryer. Happy birthday, Irving.
Great move, Mark. Faked the slant, came outside. That was a sensational move by Irving Fryer.
And you expect that type of move from a 14-year veteran, and he put the move on Dwayne Washington. And this is an area where Minnesota needs to improve. 11 times this year they were in the red area. They've given up 8 touchdowns. But here's Irving. Look at that left-hand push going right to the corner of the end zone. It could have been called, but when you're a physical, smart wide receiver like Irving Fryer is, you can get away with those things.
You know, they really don't call him on the offense much. He says hello to some friends at home in Philadelphia, but they don't call him on the wide receivers much. And a lot of wide receivers, particularly ones in this game, do a lot of pushing down by the goal line.
Are you talking a lot of wide receivers like the big guy that's down in Dallas that gets called all the time?
Well, there's big ones here, too.
Ian Beckles being helped off, number 62. Irving Fryer celebrates his birthday with his first touchdown catch of the year. He's the second oldest active receiver in the league. Henry Ellard is 36. And he now becomes only the 3rd Eagle player to ever catch a touchdown pass at 35 or older. The others, Ollie Matson, George Tarasovich.
As Angel says, the movie Animal House.
Verne, did you call those games?
I missed it. Paul Harvey was there. Eagles take the lead.
Just a reminder, at the half, the Wrangler Halftime Report. We'll be back in studio, and we'll be talking no-huddle highlights and good soldiers that they are, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, on a collision course next week in Lambeau. We'll see you at the break.
All right, Vince, 10-7 here, 9:07 to go in the Metrodome, constructed in the early 80s. And now here is Lonnie Colicchio with his second kick tonight. This one, Robert Tate, a yard back. Oh, my goodness. Well, Joe Vessel put 3 new players on his kickoff coverage team this week. This is not one of them, Ray Farmer, but what a tackle he made.
Yeah, and what a difference that sets for you, the tone it sets for your entire defense. And they were absolutely miserable on defense, on special teams before. See him come in right from the side, Farmer. But, you know, Dallas had 3 returns over 40 yards, and they spent a lot of times on teams this week.
Ray Farmer, as a small footnote, was open in the end zone on the botched field goal attempt in Dallas on Monday night. Robert Smith. Zorich chasing him. A flag is down. This one might come back.
He's fun to watch, though. And I don't care if it does come back.
And even though there's a flag, we talked about his cutback ability, and there was a great example of that.
31-yard gain is going to go the other direction.
And he had a 78-yard run against Buffalo in week 1.
Holding by the offense, number 76. Half the distance to the goal, repeat first down.
And, you know, a lot of times with a tall, angular guy, you take the wrong pursuit angle because he doesn't look as fast as he is. Those long strides fool defenders.
Scott Dill is the man guilty of the hold. Number 76. He is playing tonight in place of David Dixon, who's out with a knee injury.
I'll tell you what, I don't think that's a hold. You know, he's filling in for David Dixon, and they're definitely going to miss him. He's one of those 350-pounders, but that wasn't a bad hold right there. He had his hands inside the plane. He was driving him to the ground. No, I kind of question that, Pat.
In terms of relative holds, yeah.
In terms of the bad ones, yeah.
Sixth penalty on Minnesota tonight. 1st and 17. Johnson deep, and the tight end was held or interfered. Andrew Glover, number 82, and he was followed by James Willis. It's just a matter of defensive holding or pass interference here. Grabbed a handful of jersey and tried to ride him to St. Paul.
That's the holding call, and the right one.
That's the 5-yard variety.
Holding by the defense, number 50. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, but 1st and 10 rather than that 1st and 17 they were facing a moment ago.
James Willis with the hold. And the ball marked out to the 12-yard line. Double tight end set now for the Minnesota Vikings as Greg DeLong comes in with Hunter Goodwin. Reed comes near side, 48-yard touchdown catch on the 3rd play on offense tonight. And Robert Smith out to the 15-yard line. Tackle was made by William Thomas, number 51.
Just speaking about Jake Reed, Verne, and Mark, you know, he's no longer that number 2 receiver around here. Chris Carter, a very good receiver, as we all know, but Jake Reed, it really emerged about 2 years ago. And this guy can win games by himself now.
Reed from Grambling, and a brother of Dale Carter of the Kansas City Chiefs. Really broke into the open his 3rd year in the league. He had only 13 catches his first 2 years. And this one in and out of the hands of Andrew Glover, number 82, as Zordich was tailing him. And William Thomas also.
You know, Andrew Glover caught one of these late in the game against the Packers last week and should have caught that one. And that goes right off the numbers. It's a perfect throw by Brad Johnson.
Chris Walsh, David Palmer come in. Walsh caught his first touchdown reception of his career in the win in Chicago. 3rd and 7. That was in week 2. Vincent up to bump and run. They find Carter for the first down, but there's a flag down.
It is not Chris Carter's, just his size that make him a great receiver. I mean, the man has great hands and better concentration.
Offensive pass interference.
They have had a lot of penalties tonight.
7.
Yeah, and that was actually Philadelphia's problem coming into this ball game. They were averaging 7, Philadelphia. They had 13 against Dallas. One that shouldn't have been that cost them the game, really.
Pass interference by the offense, number 62, illegally went downfield and contacted a defender, resulting in offensive pass interference. 10-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
That's the center, Jeff Christie.
That's kind of difficult to do as a center, to be downfield with pass interference, but I guess they can do that in the NFL. But when you look at this offensive line for Minnesota, they're probably the most underrated offensive line in the NFL. I mean, they protect the quarterback very well. They're leaders in almost every offensive category, and then they've got a running back there that averages over 6 yards a carry.
Well, Todd Stussy and Randall McDaniel, particularly on the left side, Mark.
Don't forget that big guy on the right side. He's 300 and whatever Denny Green said, 300 plus.
Stringer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
3rd and 15 now. Midway through quarter number 2. Johnson deep in the middle again for Reed. Out to the 40. Gain of 32.
and it's just tough to defend a big receiver like this. Here's Jake Reed to the outside. Little hit right here, just going to take it to the post pattern, and it's tough for Troy Vincent. What do? Do you stay behind him, and he's gonna catch the ball in front of you on a slant pattern, or do you get in front of him? He's just tall enough he can reach over your head and grab the ball. Very difficult to defend a big wide receiver like Jake Reed.
They overcome 3rd and 15. The offensive interference call on Christie. A 32-yard gain. Here is Robert Smith. He's taken down with some fervor by Hollis Thomas, number 78.
Hollis Thomas is one of Ray Rhodes type guys. And he came as a free agent a year ago, and you can see him down here, number 78.
That's a nice X.
Yeah, thank you. Better than the circles I've been drawing the last few weeks. But, you know, I was going to say Hollis Thomas is, you know, a hard-working guy. Ray Rhodes' favorite word is a fighter. You know, Hollis Thomas is one of those types.
That's a loss of 1. Johnson with play action. Flips it out. Oh, boy. Chris Carter with the catch. But Bobby Taylor was completely turned around.
And you talk about body control, the way that these big receivers can use their body. And it's a lot of stop fades where they'll run down the field, stop, turn around and look at quarterback Brad Johnson. And it's tough for a defender to pick this up. Here you're going to see Bobby Taylor's back's turned, but there's Chris Carter. He's keeping his eye on the ball, and he brings it in for the reception.
You know, he makes the routine catches, and then he makes these unusual catches routinely.
Especially when it goes off the defender's shoulder.
And he is now 4 catches away from 700 for his career. The one-time Philadelphia Eagle. Chris Carter. Play action again. Johnson. Settles short for Carter. And that's a catch where he loses yardage. I cannot look at Chris Carter without thinking of Buddy Ryan.
All he does is
catch touchdowns.
Yeah.
As Buddy Ryan cut him in 1990. Personal foul, Philadelphia. Mike Mamula, number 59.
Just a little bit of extra pop by Mamula right there with the elbow into the back. A little unnecessary, Mike. You can't do shots like that in front of the bench. The officials are standing right there. It's going to cost your football
Personal
team.
foul, unnecessary roughness by the defense, number 59. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And that's just an act of frustration of a defender running 30 yards across the field, getting in on a tackle and taking a shot at a guy on the ground. You know, that's uncalled for, and it's going to hurt his team.
That moves the ball down inside the 30. Chris Carter was a 4th-round draft pick of the Eagles after he graduated Ohio State. In 1989, he had 11 touchdown catches for Philadelphia, and it was in 1990 when Buddy Ryan cut him. With the infamous phrase, all he does is catch touchdowns.
The best acquisition the Vikings have had in their entire history.
First down and 10. The amazing thing is Carter says it was the best thing that ever happened to him. It caused him to grow up. Here's David Palmer. Works his way inside the 25 to the 22, where William Thomas, number 51, makes the tackle.
You know, while you're thinking about teams giving up on guys, Atlanta gave up on Brett Favre, if you will recall, and these Minnesota Vikings had Gilbert Brown.
Notice how nobody wants a responsibility associated with Atlanta for that trade.
Jerry Glanville says it wasn't me, it wasn't me.
Ken Herrick says it wasn't me, it wasn't me.
Well, I hope they said it wasn't I.
I doubt they did. Smith to the 20. It'll be 3rd down after the 2nd and 4. 4:15 to go before halftime.
You think of him as a speed back, but he can be a banger too. I'm talking about Robert Smith. I mean, Brian Billick, the offensive coordinator, say a lot of people don't realize how powerful he can be. You know, you see the highlight films, and you see the 20-yard runs, the 50-yard runs, and sometimes the 80-yard runs. But the 2 and the 3 and the 4-yard runs are just as impressive.
Charlie Evans is the setback now on 3rd down. Wentz. This one, a quarterback keeper all the way.
That's, well, yeah, he's run 10 quarterback sneaks. That was the old quarterback keeper, and his mom is proud. She's a little concerned for her son. You know, they must have a great relationship because Brad is telling her the secret plays, the opening play.
Maybe we should talk to her before the game. We'll find out
yeah,
the first play of the game.
First play of the game.
When you look at a quarterback like this, Pat, that's the reason why they drafted him. He was a basketball player in college along with playing football, and he's a tremendous athlete. Being 6'4", they knew that they could roll him out of the pocket. He's got 2 carries for 10 yards already.
Said he accomplished one of his goals last spring. He went back home to Owen High School in Black Mountain, North Carolina, and gave the commencement address. And he talked about living life with passion. Here's Smith, left side.
He plays it too. He plays it with passion, Brad Johnson. He's one of those 6-year overnight successes, if you will. And again, Brian Billick saying that really they sent him over to the World League, and Mark, that's where he got his first chance ever really to be the guy, the starter, and he came back a lot more confident.
Well, they drafted him for a 3rd quarterback, Pat. That's what they wanted. Yeah. They said they envisioned him. He was going to be in the bench for a couple of years. He was going to develop, and he had some great guys to follow behind. Warren Moon was one of them.
2nd and 6. Vikings trying to reclaim the lead. Carter in motion. Johnson into the flat for Smith at the 5. Heads for the goal line and is in for the score. Touchdown reception this year for Robert Smith that comes from Brad Johnson.
And what a patient throw by Brad Johnson and a good read.
Eddie Murray, 2nd on the all-time list for consecutive extra points, closing in on Tommy Davis. That's 230 in a row. And it's also the 500th successful extra point scored by Eddie Murray. 14-10 Minnesota over Philadelphia. 2:27 remaining first half. Here's Eddie Murray to kick off. Deuce Staley, the rookie 3rd-round pick, will grab it at the 6. Slips a tackle at the 20 and gets out to the 30.
Now let's go back to the play that set up the touchdown pass to Robert Smith. There was a 33-yard catch and run to Jake Reed. 2 big plays tonight, one of 48, one of 33. And then a moment ago, they throw the ball out of the backfield. A very patient Brad Johnson finds Robert Smith in the corner, and then from 3 yards in, this is 100% effort. Knows exactly where the goal line is. It's a great play all the way around.
14-10 now. Charlie Garner in the backfield for Philadelphia. Detmer throws it. Michael Timpson out near the 40-yard line. Eagles have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. The Vikings scoring drive after the 12-yard reception. That was the culmination of an 87-yard drive that took 6:40, and Brad Johnson having a fine night. We reached the 2-minute warning. Johnson is 8 of 9, 2 touchdowns. And the Vikings lead it by 4. Eagles have 3 timeouts left. Minnesota leads it by 4 on the 2 Brad Johnson touchdowns. And let's take a look now at the GMC Truck leaderboard. Stan Humphries in the Charger win, 358 yards today. Napoleon Kaufman in the Raider win, 162. And Robert Brooks in a Packer loss, 9 catches for 164 yards.
I put the Redskins offensive line in there too. They played awfully well today.
What a comeback for North Turner and the Redskins in the rain at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. Here's Detmer, 7-step drop, now back up, lets it go, man, wide open. Oh boy, Irving Fryer, number 80, got loose. The Vikings, who had a porous secondary last week, let one get away from them here.
You know, Ty Detmer looked like he was very close to the line of scrimmage on that one. He would let that one go. And Irving Fryer, because Ty Detmer was able to move around in the pocket a little bit. Remember Jimmy Johnson was talking to us about this last week, being able to have your quarterback moving around the pocket some. And you need to have that mobility. Both these quarterbacks do.
36-yard gain, first down. And he got out of bounds and stopped the clock. They'll keep it on the ground here. Garner breaks a tackle, breaks is inside the 15 to the 12-yard line. Charlie Garner, number 30.
At this point in the game, you're probably wondering, where's Ricky Waters? Ricky Waters isn't in the game, and I'm sure that he's prancing on the sidelines like a caged lion. He's got 7 rushes with 22 yards, and now he's back in the game, and they need him in there. He's their big type back, and he's the type of guy that he's their best player.
Interesting now that they keep both Garner and Waters in on first down. Waters in motion. Garner gets a block from Waters on the left side. He's inside the 10, near the 9.
You know, the reason they don't do this more, Verne, having in the game at the same time, it's really the passing game. In running game, you're fine because Waters can block okay. But in the passing game, Charlie Garner has a tough time with safety blitzes and linebacker blitzes. A very dynamic runner, but smallish.
Dwayne Washington injured on that run at the 10-yard line. And time called because of the injury. It was called, however, yes, by the Vikings, their second. Coming up at the halftime, the Wrangler halftime report. Vince, Sean, and Keith will have highlights from today's NFL action back in Atlanta on the Wrangler halftime report.
I'll tell you what, I really think that show's really picked up since I left. I mean, those guys are doing a tremendous job, and Vince is the ringleader, and those guys are outstanding. They're the best in the business.
Randall Cunningham told me the same thing before the game tonight.
That's Fred Zamberletti, the trainer for life. Been here 37 years. 747th game for Fred.
Second down from the 10. Picked up by Barrett Brooks in the air. Number 76. So the Eagles will hang on to it. It was Derek Alexander, number 90, who got there.
Yeah, is it the second time tonight Derek Alexander's done it, come around the corner? But the chop here, he is right down here.
Right over Jerome Mayberry.
Yeah, the Lawrence Taylor chop. Second time does it with his left hand. Heads up play by Barrett Brooks.
Yeah, but that's every offensive lineman's dream. You catch a ball like that, and you can envision that end zone. It looks real big, and you can get there. Then all of a sudden you're saying, why did I do that? Just fall on the ground.
When you're 309 pounds, it's hard to get that momentum, that big mo going.
Eagles use one of their 3. That's their first. Their third sack tonight for Minnesota. They came in with 8. Well, 2 touchdown passes tonight. One came on the third play of the game for the Minnesota Vikings as Johnson caught Jake Reed from 48 yards out. And then in the second quarter, Irving Fryer celebrates his 35th birthday with his first catch for a touchdown tonight. And Robert Smith, the second touchdown reception, or the second touchdown thrown by Brad Johnson. 14-10. There's an old cousin of mine.
Too much lutefisk.
Up here in Scandinavian South. 3rd and 14 at the 16. Detmer. Kevin Turner knocked out of bounds and stops the clock with 32 seconds to go. But it will be 4th down as Dwayne Washington, who stayed on the field, makes the tackle.
Now, Kevin Turner's a fine receiver out of the fullback position, but in a situation like that, he wouldn't be my first choice to go to get the ball into the end zone.
You know, I don't think he was. I mean, generally your fullback is not.
Chris Boniol starts out, then goes back on 4th down.
They have to kick this.
I can't imagine they'd go for the touchdown.
In a 14-10 ball game, you kick it.
Time is called now by the Eagles.
Yeah, Ray Rhodes has to be happy this first half. His special teams have played better than any time this season. That's one thing he's got to be happy about. And Minnesota has to be happy because their defense has played better.
Now Boniol trots on the field. Don't forget, a week from tonight, we are in Chicago as Mike Ditka makes his return as head coach of the New Orleans Saints. They actually played a preseason game back there in August, but this one will go in the standings. Hope somebody scores.
Have a soccer game.
Hope somebody wins.
Boniol, 27 yards out. Hutton will hold. He kicked one earlier tonight from 47. whistle. The center is Morris Unatoa. It's good. The hold is good. The kick is up and through. So Chris Boniol, who had a streak of 28 in a row, ended earlier this year, his first season with Philadelphia. Gets his second in succession tonight from 27. Well, Boniol, of course, signed as a free agent when the Cowboys decided not to match the offer the Eagles had made to Boniol. Eddie Murray was playing in a golf course on a golf tournament for the Red Wings last Monday when he got a call. At the age of 41, they said, would you like to come back and kick for us?
Sure.
They waived Greg Davis. Now watch this before the game. Here's what you can do with your 41 years old and have 17 in the league. Who needs a holder?
Yeah, that's unbelievable, isn't it?
That's incredible.
He kicked about 6 of those.
Yeah, he made every one of them.
I asked him before the game if he'd ever tried a drop kick, and he said yes, because he had played rugby.
Yeah.
He can drop kick it. And he had an interesting slant on it. The last drop kick was Mick Luckhurst, the Brit, who also had played rugby, and he kicked one for Atlanta back in the 80s.
And it was good, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Eddie Murray now with 500 of 505 successful extra point attempts. The all-time record, 234 in a row, held by Tommy Davis. He's 230 away. Here's the Lenny Colicchio kickoff.
Chris Walsh made a nice recovery there, and now the Vikings are going to have a chance to score. At least an opportunity. They still have a timeout remaining, and they only need maybe 12 yards, 15 yards to give themselves a legitimate shot. Number 81 is Chris Walsh, a wide receiver, their third wide receiver. Good hands. He's on the good hands team.
I was never on that team.
No, neither was I. That's a heads-up play by Chris Walsh that gives his team a chance to score here before the end of the half.
One timeout left. Evans, the fullback, to the 50.
Yeah, you lost about 2 seconds there, but now you have to use the boundary. Again, really, they need to get down to about the 35, 37-yard line to give Eddie Murray a legitimate shot.
The guy that's come up with the big plays for this offense as a receiver has been Jake Reed, so look for them to go to his direction. You know, one of those guys that are that tall and he uses his body so well and he's so physical. Throw him a little out pattern over there on the sidelines. Let him jump for it.
Yeah, even if he's covered. That's where Jake Reed and Chris Carter are just absolutely remarkable. They can be covered. You still throw them the ball, and they just out-rebound guys. But remember, with 15 seconds, no timeouts, they're going to have to use a boundary play.
Carter will go left. Chris Walsh will go left. Jake Reed will go left. And Matthew Hatchett, number 19, a rookie, will come wide right. Evans, the pressure coming from the outside as Mike Mamula got the rush. Now 12 seconds left.
Mike Mamula's had a great year this year. He's got 14 quarterback hurries. That's his 15, but he still doesn't have a sack. You know, and you look at that and you say, well, he doesn't have a sack, but still he's putting that pressure on the quarterback down and down, time and time again. And he's a guy you have to have out there. Coming out of Boston College, not very big, doesn't play the run very well, but still he's a great pass rusher.
You know, a perfect example of the impatience in the National Football League. Labeled a bust a couple of years ago, but he had 13.5 sacks his first 2 years. He is not a bust. He played very well.
3rd and 2. Johnson drifts to his right, now steps up and lets it go for Carter. This will be an alley-oop, and Troy Vincent has it go through his hands 9 yards deep in the end zone.
Good play by Troy Vincent. I mean, everybody in this stadium knew that Chris Carter was going to try to out-jump him. And he was waited, and he was patient. The ball was a little high and perhaps a little long for Chris Carter, but a nice play by Troy Vincent there.
Now with 4 seconds left, we'll try the alley-oop again.
Sometimes known as the Hail Mary.
Especially for the Vikings.
Yes.
1975. Here's my Dallas story.
Yeah, here it comes.
Thank you very much for the setup.
Shoehorn.
Oh, no. No, this is no shoehorn. Drew Pearson from Roger Staubach, of course, to end that playoff game. Deep left. Catch it. Bounces. Caught by Reed. Then dropped by Reed. Oh, they almost got it.
Big Ben to agnostics. It's a fun play.
Well, the Vikings almost got this one.
And anytime you have those big old wide receivers, you give them a chance anytime you can.
Our score here in the half, Philly 13, Minnesota 14. Now let's join Vince, Keith, and Sean for the Wrangler Halftime Report.
The NFL on TNT is brought to you by Isuzu, builders of the completely reinvented 1998 Isuzu Rodeo. Isuzu, go farther. By Pepsid AC Acid Controller. You can be heartburn-free with Pepsid AC. And by Courtyard by Marriott.
This is familiar territory for the Eagles, trailing by 1. They lost by 1 to Dallas on a Monday night and defeated Green Bay prior to that. Statistically, at halftime, total yards, the Eagles 211 to 174 from Minnesota. The penalty edge goes to Minnesota with 7 penalties for 50 yards. Now Lonnie Colicchio, who was taking some political science courses 2 weeks ago at Ole Miss, will kick off and does so, taken by Robert Tate at the 4. And this kick coverage team, which has caused such misery for the Eagles, has done a pretty good job tonight. We're getting ready for the second half. For Lundquist, Pat Haden, Mark May. The 4 stars for the Minnesota Vikings offensively have held up tonight.
Well, they've all contributed, and they needed to keep this team in this game. And Robert Smith and Brad Johnson's had an outstanding half, but I think the guy that's really had a big half is Jake Reeves. Those 2 big catches in this.
Well, a wide receiver, and of course, on the other side of the coin is Irving Fryer.
Well, you know, Irving Fryer only caught 1 pass against Dallas 2 weeks ago. He caught 7 passes in the first half for 100 yards.
First down here from the 25. Blitz. Handoff Smith. Left side. Out to the 29-yard line. (14-13) Minnesota.
You know, Robert Smith has the really has the elusiveness of Warwick Dunn we saw a week ago, and more speed. Again, the 2 50-plus yard runs this season out of Robert Smith.
Injured last year, played in only 8 games. Prior to that, only 9 games. Here's Smith again. He has yet to complete a full season without injury.
Yeah, you know, Verne's really ashamed that his career thus far has been defined by his injuries. But you see when you give him the ball, he's a very, very capable guy. And if you add up his 3 Septembers, the last 3 years, over 1,200 yards in September.
He has gotten off to the quickest start in the history of the Minnesota Vikings for any running back, with 440 coming into tonight. Here's Johnson. Sets up, looks for Walsh, now goes deep for Carter. He's in a battle. And no flag.
That's a bad call.
Brian Dawkins. Chris Carter showing the the wisdom of the years, says that's a bad call, among other things.
I don't know about a bad call. I think it's perfect positioning by the defensive back, Brian Dawkins. He's got inside position, and he's climbing all the way up, and he's got that force on him, and Carter's got to go over his back. If it's a call on anyone, it's got to be on Chris Carter.
I agree. Terrific coverage by Dawkins, a free safety who can cover guys, wide receivers, one-on-one.
Now Chris giving the back judge, Peter Morelli, a bit of his mind, and is now on the sideline. And Mitch Berger is on to punt. Mark Say waits for it at the 25. William Thomas comes for the block. Berger is down, and the official rules the ball was tipped.
Yep, that's exactly right. So they didn't call the penalty on roughing the punter. I don't know how he didn't block this thing more cleanly.
There was no running into the kicker because the ball was tipped.
I like the fact that Hockley gets on the PA and makes that announcement.
Yeah, I agree.
56-yard punt. No return, of course. A look of disbelief on special teams coach Gary Zahner's face. Eagles at their own 14. Crowd trying to get behind this defensive unit. And here's Ricky Waters out to the 16-yard line, a gain of a couple, and Derek Alexander makes the stop. Let's check in with Craig Sager.
Well, at halftime, Dennis Green talked about his run defense. So they're doing a great job. If they can force Philadelphia to pass, they can get control of the game. As for Ray Rhodes, his team goes up the same tunnel as the cheerleaders because the exciting play at the end of the half, he was late getting to the locker room. If you think he was mad at that guy that rear-ended him after the Dallas loss, you should have been here for this one. He then took it out on the defense for giving up too many big plays.
Second and 8. Quick setup. Irving Fryer with his 8th catch out to the 26th. Irving Fryer, of course, had a turnaround in his life about 6 years ago. He had some tussles with the law early in his career out in Nebraska. He just completed a degree in biblical studies at South Florida Bible School in Deerfield Beach, and he is an evangelist. Last year, he preached a sermon at which Ray Rhodes was in attendance. And Ray said, Irving, if you'd gone 5 more minutes, you might have had me. This year, Ray sent his wife, Carmen. Into the flat, Ricky Waters. Out of bounds.
That's a simple little play, 5 yards, but there's a simple little push by Ricky Waters, the volatile Ricky Waters. They call penalty, they did. Stupid penalty.
That's him letting his motions getting away from him, which they can't afford in this game.
I remember the double-edged sword we talk about, and fell on the sword that time. I was just going to say a simple little pass from Ty Detmer, but well thrown to Ricky Waters on the move and didn't have to adjust and avoided the sack. And there's a lot of yapping going on in these NFL games, and Corey Fuller was giving Ricky Waters some. John Randall's apt to give it to some people too. But you just can't lose your composure.
Here's Hockley.
After the runner was out of bounds, personal foul, unnecessary roughness by the offense, number 32. It's a 15-yard penalty, and the down counts. Second down.
It wasn't rough, but it was unnecessary. Ray Rhodes is a very, very intense competitive guy. And any spend some time with you, just watch the pictures of you can appreciate that. And just is dying with the penalties his team has had up until tonight's game, really.
Back in the 80s, he and Denny Green, both on the staff of the 49ers. Rhodes coached the defensive back, Green the wide receivers. Green had Rice, Rhodes had Ronnie Lott. They went 1-on-1 or 2-on-2. Here's Detmer, deep ball, way downfield, Orlando Thomas. And then he fumbles the ball. Now they are going to rule no interception. Oh, I'm not so sure about this.
Brings up third down.
Orlando Thomas has been one of those free safeties, one of those middle of the field guys who can intercept passes. But he had 9 his rookie year, 3 years ago. He had possession, 1 foot down, 2. That's a catch.
Absolutely.
That is a catch. Absolute catch and a fumble.
There's 1 foot, 2 foot, and then the fumble.
Yep.
That USC education comes in again.
1-2. Yeah, that was 1-2.
Just
correct bands too.
Don't get in the start of waltz.
But it was a great job by playing center field by Orlando Thomas.
Third and 20. 4 wide receiver set. Solomon in motion, number 84. Blitz. Detmer steps up. Goes deep in the middle. That will be far short. No catch.
Hey, one thing about Ty Detmer, when you rush him, you better rush him from the inside, because every time he gets an opportunity, he steps up inside in the pocket mark, and there's no inside push to knock him down.
And teams have had success getting that inside push and getting their hands up and knocking the balls down. Minnesota's not doing that. They're rushing from the outside. It gives them a chance to step up in the pocket and throw the ball downfield.
Tommy Hutton will punt from near the goal line. David Palmer waits at the Minnesota 47. snaps it back. Palmer. Tackled at the 43. 48-yard punt for Tommy Hutton. 8 on the return.
This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Minnesota Vikings and the National Football League is prohibited.
44-yard line, first down 10. Minnesota with a 1-point lead. 2 touchdown passes from Brad Johnson tonight. One to Jake Reed, the other to Robert Smith. Smith goes left.
Well,
Block down.
Yeah, I was just going to say great block by Todd Stussy, but they may have gotten him for a hold. And Todd Stussy, the left tackle for Minnesota, number 73, started every single game since his rookie year. This is now his 4th. Played well against Bruce Smith on opening day, and he and Randall McDaniel made a very good left side of that offensive line.
Holding by the offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Indeed, that is on Todd Stussy. And Mark, you know, we saw Tampa Bay's offensive line last week. They're emerging. I think this Minnesota offensive line is underrated, that you were saying a little earlier.
Well, they are underrated. They've got a great mixture of young and old players. Randall McDaniel, the perennial Pro Bowler at the left guard position. And you look at Corey Stringer at right tackle. This guy's the biggest guy in the NFL. They rate him as 330 pounds, but look at this right there. There's no way that's 330. That's all a 375.
No, that may be 330 right there.
Gravity works.
The rest, you know, you add on. 1st and 20. And here's a quick pass to Andrew Glover, the tight end, number 82. And the tackle made by Darren Smith, number 56.
Well, Brad Johnson is not a brand name quarterback yet, but, you know, thrown 2 touchdowns tonight. That makes 10 for the season for Brad Johnson. You know, mobile guy. And, you know, Brian Billick, the offensive coordinator, saying, you know, you need mobile quarterbacks the way the NFL game is played today, and this guy is mobile.
2nd down and 11. Johnson retreats and
smart play.
Throws it away at the heels of Robert Smith.
Yeah, Hollis Thomas was a smart play by Hollis Thomas, number 78, too.
Now, Johnson's going to plead his case that Smith, I think he's saying Smith was held up.
Yeah, by
Hollis Thomas.
Yep.
3rd and 11.
Going back to Brad Johnson, and you're talking about Brian Billick, he said that he is the prototype quarterback of the future. Tall, 6'4", has got a cannon for an arm, but he can throw that long ball with a great loft under it. And plus, he's very mobile. He can run the dash outside the pocket and run with the football.
Here's the deep pass. And wide open. Matthew Hatchett, the rookie, number 19, and they had him, just couldn't get it to him.
You know, the Eagles have been, you know, blitzing all year long. We're not getting burned until tonight. Jake Reed burned him earlier, and Matthew Hatchett was open by 20 yards. I think the ball may have been tipped by Bobby Taylor, who was blitzing. Yeah, right. It was Bobby Taylor blitzing Brad Johnson. He may have tipped the ball, but it was a sure 6 points.
One could gather from Billick's reaction that they've been setting that one up all night long.
Yeah.
Here is Mitch Berger's punt. Mark Say camps under it at the 18-yard line and waves for the fair catch. A 39-yard punt, nothing on the return. Looks like a man who spent a lot of time at Brigham Young. I don't think so.
Now the practically amazing Isuzu play of the day. It happened in the Bear-Cowboy game, and at the other end of this punt is Deion Sanders, and I think you know what's next. Neon excitement. Deion finds those sidelines, and he is gone, and maybe a little rusty in the celebration front. Deion doesn't know what to do, but he does know how to score the touchdown. Our practically amazing Isuzu play of the day.
Brian Billick still in a state of angst.
Oh, boy, was he hot. You know, you wait, you set things up. That was a live shot just a second ago. Here, this is the tape of him a little bit earlier.
He's still not done.
Yeah.
He is no longer an active member of the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. At the 20, backs in the eye. Brian Billick, for those who are not familiar with his background, he is a graduate of Brigham Young University. He actually started out at the Air Force Academy a few years ago. And John Randall has been handled tonight.
Yeah, they have done a very good job on John Randall, Joe Panis, and Ian Beckles. And, you know, they use two guys on him, sometimes a back chipping on him, which generally you have to do, because Joe Panis was saying to us last night he is the best pass rushing defensive tackle in the National Football League.
2nd and 7, 1-point game. Detmer, Alexander misses him. Detmer finds Kevin Turner up at the 25-yard line.
But Ty Detmer has had pressure on him all evening, Vernon, Mark. I mean, Minnesota has really gotten after him. You know, they got the sack, caused a couple of fumbles. Both of those by Alexander. That was the second one there by Alexander. And he's gotten bounced around, hit high, hit low. But he is one tough Texan.
3rd and 3. Blitz. Detmer lets it go. Picked off.
No.
Corey Fuller. No, they're going to say he trapped it.
That was an ill-advised throw. Ty Detmer usually protects the ball very, very well. Had no interceptions coming in today's ball game. Has thrown one tonight. But the pressure continues. Corner blitz by Washington, number 20. That's Jeff Brady on top of him. Well, he has taken a beating. 6 feet, 194 pounds. At the end of the season, he'll be 5'6", 137.
Which is about the size of David Palmer, who's that's a
nice
segue.
Nice segue, yeah.
Who's about to return the punt of Tommy Hutton. Way up in the air. Palmer drifts left. Fair catch called. He grabs it at the 30-yard line. 8:46 to go in the 3rd quarter of play. Detmer will get a rest. His defensive teammates are on the field. This Thursday, TNT presents a movie from the makers of Fargo. Don't miss Tim Robbins and Paul Newman in The Hudsucker Proxy, Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central on TNT. Whew. At the 30, Ty Detmer gets a rest. Rodney Peete, who was a starting quarterback at the beginning of last season for the Eagles, is sitting alongside. And here's Brad Johnson, 10 of 17 after he hit 8 of his first 9. Play action. Into the flat, flag is down. Robert Smith is hauled down. And a face mask call on James Willis.
How do you know there's a penalty, Mark? Right here.
How could you tell? Yeah. Oh, that's...
Robert Smith had a couple of bad things happen to him on that play. There was a face mask, and I think he also may have gotten kicked.
There were fouls by both teams on the play. Personal foul, face mask by the defense, number 50. There was also illegal hands to the face by the offense, number 73. The penalty's offset. Replay, first down.
Todd Stussy and James Willis. Here's the second of the 2 penalties.
Wow. Almost takes his helmet off. And add a little insult to injury.
And after all of that, we'll play the down over. 8:38 to go, 3rd quarter. Hunter Goodwin, Greg DeLong, double tight ends. Goodwin and DeLong both set up tight right. Now DeLong in motion comes back. Across the middle, dropped by the tight end. Hunter Goodwin, second-year man from Texas A&M.
Well, he was an offensive lineman the first couple of years at Texas A&M, and as you could gather from that, still adjusting to the position change to tight end.
You're trying to say that offensive linemen can't catch, Pat?
I inferred it. I did not say it, but I inferred it. Did you catch any balls ever?
In practice?
Yeah, I am one of those guys. Great on Thursdays. Great on Thursdays.
2nd and 10.
Before the snap, false start by the offense, number 86. 5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
Call is on Jake Reed, and we'll check in with Craig Sager.
Well, earlier, Ty Detmer came off the field, came over to the bench, a wide open bench. One guy sitting in a seat, and he got up and told the guy to leave. Looked kind of rude at first until we went over and found out that is not only the seat where he always sits himself, but there was a phone there, and he was waiting for a call from upstairs from John Gruden. Verne?
Got a spot? Favorite spot?
2nd down and 15. Deep left side for Reed. That's going to be a 1st down.
Well, you know, the Eagles have done a pretty good job on Chris Carter. He's only caught 2 balls for 17 yards, but they have not been able to find an answer for Jake Reed. Jake Reed now has 3 catches, and they have been of a large variety. Charles Dimry, 98 yards on those 3 catches. A couple of inside routes, and then this is the outside route. We've seen him run a slant, kind of a post, and the out route. Again, he is now not just another receiver. He's a primary receiver, not the number 2 guy.
Gain of 17 for Reed. Here's the pitch back to Johnson from Smith. Good downfield coverage, and Johnson's going to have to tuck it and run. So the gadget play does not work.
Every time I see that play, that is 40 throwback special, and we lost a quarterback on that play about 15 years ago, and his name was Joe Theismann. And whenever I see that play in the game, it just gives me chills because it really leaves the quarterback exposed because the offensive linemen have to hold their block for a long, long time. Here's the running back, Robert Smith. He takes the ball, takes 2 steps, pitches it back. As you can see, the defense steps up, but there's no one open, and the quarterback has to get rid of the ball or run out of the pocket. In this case, Brad Johnson ran out of the pocket.
How do you think Joe feels about it?
He's about an inch shorter.
5-6 now. 2nd and 6. Johnson. Little pressure. Reed.
How about the effort by Mamula? See Mike Mamula diving and flying all over the place. Again, you know, you mentioned it earlier, Mark, doesn't have any sacks, but the 14 hurries coming in again. This is another hurry by Mamula up top, and that's an awful circle, but he gets chopped, doesn't deter him, gets right back up, gets to the quarterback's face, along with Zordich.
Mike Mamula from Boston College. Michael Zordich out of Penn State, and they got there simultaneously. 3rd and 6. Hatchett runs a crossing pattern. Johnson goes deep for Carter. Hit by Vincent.
Boy, great job by Troy Vincent. He's had a couple of those, Mark. I mean, Jake Reed is killing them, but they've done a wonderful job on Chris Carter, and that time Troy Vincent did.
He was covered like a blanket. In a case like that, you're just fortunate that you have very long arms that you can reach over the wide receiver right here and swat that ball away right at the last instant. Excellent play. It was close to being a penalty. It was very close, but it was a good defensive play.
I think it's a good defensive play.
I think your interpretation would depend on your place of residence.
Generally, it does.
Yes. And now on 4th down, Mitch Berger on for the punt. Mike Morris will snap it back. Long-time snapper for the Vikings and long-time character as well. Bobbled and taken by the Vikings.
Special teams again hurt the Eagles. Bad decision.
And Ray Rhodes can't believe it. In that situation, get away from the ball. It's bouncing on the ground. Only bad things can happen. Get away from the ball. And Ray Rhodes is upset on that play, as well he should be. Not a smart play by the receiver on that play.
Mark Say.
Yeah, it just bounced off him. It really wasn't hit out of his hands. But no way you field that ball in the situation.
Remember earlier in the game, he fielded one at the 3-yard line.
Yeah, he had a good return on that one, but
right.
Again, probably the wrong decision.
Waters tries to console him. So does Joe Wessel, the special teams coach. but a grievous error.
I guess that would be a very big error.
Yeah, a bad one.
Bad one?
Yeah, either or.
First down after the turnover. Robert Smith. James Willis with the tackle.
Here's where Philadelphia's defense needs to force a field goal attempt. I mean, again, that change defense. Special teams gives your defensive ball club real bad field position. This is where they have to respond. And here's where Philadelphia's done a great job. There's Emmett Thomas, the defensive coordinator, has done a great job this year, particularly getting after the quarterback on blitzes.
Second down and 8. They feed it to Robert Smith. Touchdown, Minnesota. Eddie Murray on for the extra point. Robert Smith from 14 yards out. Berger's hold is down. Eddie Murray in his first game for the Minnesota Vikings tacks on the extra point. Robert Smith with the touchdown run. 21-13 with 6.5 to go. Robert Smith up the middle. Guys just got here. And Eddie Murray, 41 years of age. His first kickoff as a pro, the Detroit Lions at the Los Angeles Rams in 1980. It was returned for a touchdown by Drew Hill, 98 yards. And here is Deuce Staley trying to emulate that some 17 years later. And Mark, let's go back and take a look at the overhead shot of the touchdown run.
Well, here's a touchdown. It's a basic 20 reach. Watch Randall McDaniel pull the guard. Dill set it up. Here's Big Corey Stringer on the middle linebacker right up the pipes. It's called 20 reach. Robert Smith on his 16th carry will take it straight ahead. Look at that hole. No one's going to touch him until he gets to inside the 5-yard line. His 16th carry, over 60 yards. His second touchdown of the night. That's his first one rushing.
Robert Smith will rest. Charlie Garner is on now as the deep back in the eye. Ricky Waters sits out this series. 21-13. I think they're changing the play. What was my first pull? Blitz. Detmer across the middle to his big tight end Jason Dunn, and Robert Griffith makes the tackle.
Philadelphia needs some big plays. Minnesota Vikings have had a number of big ones. Jake Reed, Robert Smith a couple of times, and that's the guy right there, Irving Fryer. If you're looking for a big play, the best opportunity right now is with Irving Fryer.
Carter and Reed watch from the Viking bench. 2nd and 4. Randall comes to the right side. And Charlie Garner is hit by Jeff Brady first, and then a host of others, as they used to say.
I want to tell you, Foge Fazio's defense has played very well tonight. I mean, they have been hammered for the last few weeks, giving up 145 yards a game. There's Jerry Ball, big old 96 coming off, but they played very good run defense tonight.
Jerry Ball signed as a backup. He had been at home eating dinner.
He's been signed as 2 backups.
Conservative estimate is 332. He and Corey Stringer could tilt the scale. Here's Detmer. Garner, first down. And more to the 43-yard line.
What do you think Jeff Brady, the middle linebacker, was thinking when he said, hey, I have to cover Charlie Garner on this route? I mean, that is a tough duty for a middle linebacker. Jeff Brady, who's played the run very well tonight.
I'll tell you, the first thing he was thinking, first of all, help. Second of all, please don't throw it to Garner.
Gain of 18 and a first down at the 43-yard line. 4.5 to go, third quarter.
Play action. Irving Fryer, that's his 8th catch tonight. Make it 9. And Fryer's down.
Also, perhaps the best blocking wide receiver in the National Football League. He's top of the screen here. Second time he's run this little stop route, and he's strong enough that he can break some tackles. But Corey Fuller just not going to let him go, and then he takes a shot from Dixon Edwards. He's 120 yards on 9 receptions and a touchdown.
For Philadelphia to stay in this ball game, they need Irving Fryer. He's got to find a way to get off the turf and come back and play for them. But hey, as you said, Pat, he was a heck of a blocker. This guy, he's been notoriously voted the #1 blocking wide receiver in the NFL, and he's told us he's taken a few dings over the year, and a couple of them were his own fault.
Well, did he say knocked himself out twice blocking?
Yeah, he said he wanted to go back in there and go against Chris Spillman and give him a heck of a shot, and he said both of them went down, but Spillman got up a little quicker than he did.
This time it was Dixon Edwards, Viking linebacker. Ray Rhodes over to see if he can determine the severity of the injury. Well, Irving Fryer trying to shake the cobwebs out, I think. For all the scores, highlights, and an in-depth look at the sports issues of the day, tune to CNN Sports Illustrated, the 24-hour sports news network from CNN and Sports Illustrated. If you don't receive CNN Sports Illustrated, call your cable or satellite provider. Another look at the injury to Irving Fryer.
Looked like he took a forearm right to the head from Dixon Edwards.
He's up walking around. Looks like he's going to be all right.
Amazing 14-year career he has had. Over 10,000 yards in receptions.
Second down and 1. Garner cuts back inside, a little spin move, and another first down at the 29-yard line. Corey Fuller and Dixon Edwards are there.
A little spin move. That was an outstanding spin move. Dixon Edwards grabbed out there and got nothing but air. Charlie Garner is another dimension of this offense that they need because he hits the hole so quick, and he's got that breakaway speed, and he's a lot smaller than Ricky Waters, can do just as many things, but he's not a great blocker.
He's the fast forward of the offense. And that's Chris T. Jones in the background, the street close, a wide receiver they could use desperately tonight.
He has missed each of the first 4 Eagle games this year. Oh, my goodness. Brady put a pop on Garner.
And that's what's called filling the gap.
Yeah.
When you're blitzing in the middle and you're trying to get some pressure on the offense and make a big play, watch Jeff Brady. You're not going to be able to see him. Here he comes flying right through that hole, that 4 hole, right there. Great job by a linebacker. That's great linebacker awareness.
Second down and 9 after the 1-yard gain. Garner, the only setback. Blitz. Detmer, quick setup. Michael Timpson to the 20-yard line, where it will be 3rd and 1. He makes the grab in front of Dwayne Washington.
Yeah, I really am surprised, though, that the Minnesota Vikings aren't getting some more inside pressure on Ty Detmer. Everything's really coming from the outside, Mark. As Foge fades to the defensive coordinator. Regardless, Foge has to be happy with the way his defense has played. This is the best they've played this year.
3rd and 1. At the 20. Kevin Turner sets up in a wing to the right side. Play action. Turner deep. Flag is down. Hoffman with the grab. Touchdown. 3 flags, but I think the score will stand.
What an unbelievable adjustment by a fullback. Kevin Turner, always been a good receiver, but that is a remarkable play and adjustment, and it will stand. They're going to call a penalty against Minnesota.
Not only that, Pat, when coaches talk about fighting for the football, that is a prime time job and a great example of going to get the football and taking it away from the defender and then turning around and taking it in the end zone.
You know, we've seen some good
Pass
fullbacks.
interference by the defense, number 27. The penalty is declined. Play results in a touchdown.
And that's on Corey Fuller. You know, There's some real good pass-catching fullbacks around the league. Darryl Johnston, Mike Allstott, and number 34, Kevin Turner. And the Eagles will be going for 2 points. Remarkable catch.
They trail by 2. Garner and Turner. In the backfield. Marseille in motion. Detmer drills it. No good. Marseille.
Now Marseille made a bad decision in special teams play, but that one wasn't his fault. A little bit behind him, it was drilled. Had to adjust to it. It was a very tough catch for Marseille. I'm really impressed with the way that Ty Detmer hangs in the pocket. They threw it behind him. Hangs in the pocket. And boy, then he took a shot by Robert Griffin and finds little windows to throw the ball. Good play by Griffin.
My question is, this is crunch time of the game. This is where you've got to have some points. The last series, Ricky Waters has not been on the football field. He's their best player offensively. You've got your best wide receiver out. Where's Ricky Waters?
I'll tell you what, they had their best fullback out in the last touchdown play. I'll tell you that, Kevin Turner.
Yeah, they got the touchdown, 21-19. Waters was not a part of that. Keep in mind what they said. They wanted Garner for at least a series a half. And Garner was there along with Turner.
You know, everybody wants the football, but Kevin Turner doesn't get the ball enough. Only has 6 catch of the year. Only has 3 carries this season. The guy you got to give some opportunities.
Lonnie Colicchio for the kickoff. And David Palmer at the 1. Oh, he got a good block from Dwayne Robb, but only gets it out to the 18-yard line. As Charles Dimry, number 38.
Boy, Joe Wessel and Ray Rhodes must be happy with the coverage teams. Boy, what a difference it makes. 2 weeks make. They were awful against Dallas 2 weeks ago, and pretty good tonight. Don't you think Ray Rhodes would be a good special teams player? You think he's intense enough?
He's the type of guy you definitely want in your foxhole. He's the guy that's going to jump on the grenade.
One-time 10th round draft pick of the New York Giants as a wide receiver. And here's a run out to the 20. Matter of fact, he was reminiscing with us yesterday about his rookie season. They were playing Pittsburgh, and he was a wide receiver, and they kept trapping Joe Green. And he was called upon to go in and sideline him, and he got him down around the knees, and when Joe Green got up, he started pummeling him, right?
Yeah.
They called the play a second time. Here comes Ray Rhodes. There goes Joe Green. Gets him in the stomach a couple times. Doing some business. Ray Rhodes went to the quarterback, Craig Morton, and says, we got to quit calling that play.
So you call that play again. You and I are going to have it out right here.
2nd and 8. Brad Johnson. Oh, boy, what a nice play that was.
Yeah, you see the strength of his arm, too. A lot of quarterbacks, when they're trying to throw that ball away with a guy hanging at their feet, cannot get the ball out of bounds. It goes high in the air, and it gets picked off. But 6'5", 224-pound Brad Johnson. And again, that is Hollis Thomas again hanging around him.
And it was Orlando Bobo, number 74, who's in on this series, who made the boo-boo.
Yeah.
You knew I was going.
I've known you for a long time, Verne.
I just thought I'd get there before you did.
It's like this, Mark. It is.
3rd and 8. Blitz. Johnson, right side, man open. Jake Reed. And Troy Vincent. Gain of 12.
You know, Mark, you talked at the very beginning of the broadcast, the key matchups today. Wide receivers from Minnesota, corners against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll tell you, they've done a great job on Chris Carter, but Jake Reed's having a big night.
Not only that, Pat, I'll tell you what, this offense is able to pick up the blitz. Philadelphia's coming with some oddball blitzes, but they've been able to pick them up.
The 4th consecutive game now, Jake Reed is over 100 yards receiving. And he breaks an all-time Viking record. Here comes Robert Smith in a foot race. Brian Dawkins had the angle and caught him. But a 46-yard
Smith to catch him. An absolutely explosive guy, one of the few guys who can get to the corner of the defense and then outrun people. Designed to go off tackle, got a good block from his fullback Charles Evans, and then just the angle prevented him from going, the angle that Brian Dawkins had prevented him going all the way. I mean, this guy has had all kinds of good runs, long runs and short runs tonight that have been impressive.
If they can ever keep him healthy, he may have a trip to Honolulu across the pond. It's been a long time since Minnesota's had a Pro Bowl running back.
1977, the guy's name was Chuck Foreman. Robert Smith with 109 yards tonight. We've reached the end of 3. Welcome back to Minneapolis, Minnesota. About 4 blocks from the Mississippi River, the Metrodome. And site tonight of this 18th meeting between the Vikings and the Eagles. Minnesota leads it by 2. And they have a 1st and 10 at the 23. Johnson with the audible. Robert Smith makes sure he's got the call, time call, as the play clock had wound down. So as we get set to try to start the 4th quarter, anticlimactically, we'll take a break. Final quarter from the Met. Verne Lundquist, Mark May, Pat Haden, 21-19 Minnesota. Vikings forced to use one of their timeouts. Johnson 12 of 23 tonight. Robert Smith with his 3rd 100-yard-plus rushing effort of the season. And Carter and Reed have combined for 127, but 109 of those go to Jake Reed. Toss to Smith. Cuts back to his left and Reed's inside the 20 near the 18-yard line. Randall McDaniel was out there helping lead the way.
Well, I really believe that Robert Smith is a remarkable player. I mean, you know, there's an injury to
Darren Smith.
You know.
And so the medical corps of the Eagles immediately out on the field as time has been called. We'll be right back.
Vikings leading by 2. Darren Smith has re-injured his right ankle. It forced him to miss the first 2 games of the season. He apparently will be all right, but he's come off the field. As for Irving Fryer, no concussion, and he will return with the ball on offense. Verne?
Thanks, Greg. Here's Johnson looking for Reed left side and throws instead for Carter in the end zone, and a flag is thrown. It was Carter battling Troy Vincent as Reed pulled up short, and this one may be called on Vincent.
I'm not so sure. Boy, again, it looked like pretty good coverage to me, Mark. And again, remember, the ball has to be catchable.
Well, it looked like he was draped over his back, Pat, and he got to push on him before the ball got there.
Here.
Another fine circle you've got.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, there was
See
a little
that?
push. Yeah, you're right. I take it back. I was dead wrong again, Mark. Thank you. You got a little hold there, too.
For the first time this year.
Yeah. Doggone it.
That is a Southern California interpretation of incidental contact.
Yes. Yes.
Well, we do have earthquakes out my way. And that is not incidental.
And hurricanes as of late.
Yeah.
All right, here's Ed Hockley.
The pass was not catchable. Therefore, there is no foul on the play.
You stand corrected.
Yes. Brings up 3rd down.
Mark, he's right again.
You guys both stand corrected as well as on either side of me.
He's giving a frightening meaning of infallibility here. Well, uncatchable. It's the second one I've seen called today.
Yeah. And you always wonder about the rule, too. I heard John Madden talking about it, making a good point, actually, that one was uncatchable.
Yes.
That one was uncatchable, without a doubt. So good job by the officials on that play.
Yes. Although the Viking crowd here doesn't necessarily agree.
The Swedes in the crowd, at least.
Chorus heard in some bull rings. Here's Johnson again. Chris Carter, Troy Vincent. 3rd catch tonight for Chris Carter. Touchdown. He had broken the plane and was knocked back outside. 18-yard score. Brad Johnson's mom is kind of satisfied.
and so's Chris Carter. And so's Brian Billick. Again, got to get your hands on these slot receivers. Minnesota didn't do it last week. That time, William Thomas didn't get his hands on Chris Carter. And Troy Vincent just, got outmatched physically on the play.
Eddie Murray gets another extra point. All he does is catch touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, and a lot of them.
Three touchdown passes tonight by Brad Johnson. But hey, Brad Johnson's always been a popular name in Minnesota. 22 pages in the phone book. In fact, right here, how many guys are Brad Johnson? We have 40 Brad Johnsons, 35 Bradley Johnsons, 25 Bradford Johnsons, and 100 that go by B. Johnson. It's the Brad Johnson section right here. Back to you, Verne.
Hi, Craig, but you must understand, it's Johnson.
This part of the country, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I hope he's never paged at the Minnesota airport here. Then 15 guys will answer the page.
82-play drive, 82-yard drive in 7 plays, yes. Deuce Staley.
That's great.
Out to the 17-yard line, Wayne Rudd. And Leonard Wheeler down to help on the tackle. And watch the most significant Brad Johnson after that last touchdown. He's got that knockout punch
down.
He
does.
I don't know who's more fired up, his mom or Brad. There's a high 10.
Oh, that's bad one.
That
was bad.
Yeah.
Practice.
Don't go there.
Oh, goodness.
1st and 10.
Well, Brad Johnson still, to this day, has a poster of Warren Moon in his room. I mean, he grew up, it tells you how long Warren's been playing in the league, but he grew up a big Warren Moon fan, and to this day, in his home in Black Mountain, North Carolina, has a poster there of Warren Moon.
Warren Moon, at 40 years of age, gives way to Eddie Murray now in the age category.
Warren was the happiest guy in the NFL when Eddie signed.
That's right.
Well, Richard Dent was pretty happy, too.
2nd and 10. Tipped, incomplete. Jeff Brady, number 50.
He's played well, Verne.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, Jeff Brady has played well. You love guys who are determined. 6 different teams Jeff Brady has played for. Got his first chance to start the NFL really for an extended period of time last year, made the most of it, led the team in tackles, a good blitzer, and a good guy in pass coverage, which is an unusual combination.
Now comes to his left on 3rd and 10. Blitz. John Detmer has to throw it away. Flag is down.
Yeah, on Randall. That'll
John Randall.
Stupid play by John Randall. Your team is up 28-19. You know they're going to call it on him.
In a play like that, you're going to get the ball after this play. It was a ridiculous play. He's frustrated because he hasn't had a chance to hit the quarterback this evening.
And he was in the face of Ian Beckles, the former Tampa Bay guard, after the call.
Personal foul, roughing the passer by the defense, number 93, contact to the helmet, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's the 10th penalty against Minnesota. And anytime you go to the head, and John Randall knows that they're going to call it. I mean, it's not even close. Stupid play on 3rd down. They were going to punt the ball.
Randall, a one-time free agent from Texas A&I, now Texas A&M Kingsville. And Joe Panos telling us last night he is the best rushing tackle in the NFL. But that time he got away from Beckles and then the hit to the helmet. So a fresh series of downs now for the Eagles. Kevin Turner starts in motion. Ricky Waters for a couple.
You know, Verne, it's not just quarterbacks that have to know situations in the ball game. I mean, everybody does. And John Randall should have known that situation, up 28-19. You know, a punt coming up. Just that was a grievous error.
Not only that, and you're going to get the ball back in excellent field position.
Yeah.
I mean, this could cost this football team. This could cost them a lot.
Bo Spazio looks for a defensive play he's going to send in. It's second down and 10. Detmer. Michael Timpson knew he was going to get belted in the back when he went up for the pass.
Hey, Verne and Mark, remember a while ago we saw Kevin Turner make that great catch for a touchdown? Again, a terrific block by Kevin Turner, number 34, the fullback on the blitz. Right there. I mean, this guy, you watch his plays on the tape on Monday and you say, this guy does a lot. You don't notice him a lot. He's like a telephone operator. He's anonymous. But he can make plays like that to help you win ball games.
I'm not sure where you were going with that.
I ended up there.
Wherever you go, there you are. Man across the middle. It's Mark Say.
Oh, happy for Mark Say.
16-yard gain and a first down for Philadelphia.
Not only Mark Say, they're still not putting pressure up the middle, and that's giving Ty Detmer new life. Whenever he can step up in the pocket and throw the ball downfield, he completes them.
Yeah, and you're right, Mark, and the big windows he's getting to see those receivers. It's big upfield rush, and when you have a quarterback taking 3- and 5-step drops, you're going to run right by him, and he's got great big passing lanes to find his receivers.
First down and 10 after the 16-yard gain and a 4-wide receiver set. Detmer has already thrown it 36 times. Gets rid of this one. Incomplete for Waters, who thought he had it set up. And now a flag is down.
There was like a Brett Favre impersonation there with that.
Ineligible receiver downfield.
Well, it was a screen. They must have gotten downfield very quickly. This is a smart player, Ty Detmer. And you know what? You see him smiling. He has a smile on his face a lot when he plays the game. And off the field as well. This guy's a likable guy. And yet Joe Panis was saying, hey, can he really be tough in the huddle?
Ineligible receiver downfield by the offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Steve Everett, the center in his first year.
Kind of a creative throw there as he felt the pressure of Fernando Smith and John Randall. Just a little flick. And 61, he wasn't downfield by much, but Steve Everett, they said, was downfield.
First down and 15. Split backs. Blitz again. Good pickup. Here's Detmer going deep for Waters. Oh, my gosh. Robert Griffith, number 24, went helmet to helmet with Ricky Waters.
And Ricky Waters has a complaint there because that ball should have been drilled. And it was lob mark, and it should have been drilled.
Well, even though, Pat, he should have caught this ball. He knew he was going to get hit. He put one hand out there, and he really didn't go after it with the second. Right there, he knew he was going to get hit.
You know, he had that problem a couple years ago. Remember, it was a big play. I can't remember what game it was.
He alligator arm across the middle, and that was at home in Philadelphia, and those fans will
remember that. Absolutely.
That was in his first game as an Eagle, if I recall.
You know, I still think that ball should have been drilled.
Second and 15. Tipped, incomplete. Tight end Chad Lewis.
Well, you overthrow him, you're overthrowing it. He's 6'6".
Well, we had Cougar to Cougar on that play. Brigham Young connection, and Ray Rhodes looks on. It'll be third down.
I don't think there's a more competitive person that I'm aware of, or certainly have ever met, than Ray Rhodes.
It could be Dennis Green on the other sideline.
Four-man rush this time. Man. What a block. Oh, my gosh. Kevin Turner to the 50, but they'll have to punt. Ricky Waters got a block on Derek Alexander that you could, I mean, it was palpable, the noise.
Palpable. I haven't heard that word in a kind of broadcast in a while.
Well, his teeth still may be chattering after that shot, guys. I don't know about palpable, but I know that shot hurt.
You always really bring us back to reality. That's what I like about you, Mark. Yeah.
Hey, I'm a street guy. What can I say?
Tom Hutton is on to punt. Palmer at the 10. Flag down. Back at the 48 of Philadelphia.
I think it's a bad punt. You know, you can't punt that ball in the end zone, Verne, on those pooches. I mean, that had no chance of doing anything but going into the end zone.
Man, here's
a member of the kicking team was inelibly downfield. Number 87. The penalty is declined. First down.
And after the touchback, it'll be first down at the 20-yard line. 11:33 remaining in regulation. Brad Johnson comes back on the field. His team leads 28-19. 28-19, Minnesota with a first down at the 20 after the touchback. And Brad Johnson hands it off to Robert Smith out near the 23-24-yard line. We want to take you back to the long pass from Ty Detmer to Ricky Waters as Waters went over the middle. And the pass overthrown, and Mark and Pat disagree on whether he should have gone up for it or the pass should have been better.
Well, I think Ty Detmer agrees with me. He's saying, go after the ball, Ricky Waters. Ricky's saying, don't let me hanging out there. Put the ball down a little lower. They have to get separated here. These are two guys who are in a heated battle. They're both competitors.
Yeah, well, the one thing is that those two guys are going to have to go back and play together here shortly in this fourth quarter. They better get it together.
Here's the handoff to Smith at the 25. I'll go back to 1995 when Ricky Waters was acquired from the 49ers in September in Vet Stadium against Tampa Bay. It was thought he short-armed a couple of passes in that game, and the crowd really rode him hard.
Yeah, and the papers did as well. And you could argue that was a short-arm pass, and it probably catch it was, but I still believe the pass could have been better thrown by Detmer, and he wouldn't have had to do that. He was open for a long time.
3rd and 5. Johnson does a wonderful job again, and then finds the receiver, Carter. He fumbles it, but out of bounds.
Well, Brad Johnson has become a brand name quarterback after tonight. I mean, you sense it, you feel it sometimes. How many times have we seen quarterbacks this year who don't feel that backside blitz? Brad Johnson did. Got a sense of it, gets out of the way, shows some mobility, and then finds Chris Carter. That is one heck of a play by Brad Johnson. And the routine catch and the not-so-routine catch from Chris Carter. We've seen them both tonight.
First down after the play. Carter's 4th catch. He's 1 away from 700 for his career. Flag is down. Johnson deep right side. There is a flag back at the 34.
I thought Chris Carter felt that he was interfered with and then couldn't try to make the play to knock it away from Troy Vincent.
Well, Carter argues the case, or the cause, rather. Here's Hockley.
Illegal shift by the offense. 2 men moving at the same time. That penalty is declined. The pass is intercepted. First down, Philadelphia.
Now it'll be interesting to see if Ricky Waters and Ty Detmer can get along in this next series. Here's the replay of the last play. He just airs it out. Looks like they just cross legs right here, and he does. And Chris Carter virtually gives up on the play, but Troy Vincent doesn't. He concentrates on the ball, but Chris Carter still downs him on the play right there and makes the tackle.
Waters behind Detmer. 1st and 10. Yeah. That is the first Minnesota turnover tonight. And Detmer comes up under Steve Everett. 28-19, 9:16 remaining. Waters.
And there's the other side of the two-edged sword of the emotion of Ricky Waters.
That's a quick gain of 23.
And boy, they needed a big play desperately right now. And Ricky Waters gives it to him. And Ty Detmer hands it to him. Two guys screaming at each other just a moment ago. But, you know, there comes a time to put that stuff aside, play together, and they're going to have to this fourth quarter, the rest of this fourth quarter.
Gain of 23 and a first down and 10 at the 43-yard line. 9-point game. Waters up the middle.
Keep feeding the ball, Mark. Keep feeding the ball.
Pat, if he's going to respond like that, if Troy Detmer's going to get in his face, maybe he should do it after every series.
Yeah, John Gruden, the offensive coordinator, has done a great job this year with these guys. But I'll tell you, you got to give the guy the ball again and again. Some good blocks inside by Panos, Steve Everett, Beckles.
Kevin Turner. Gain of 11, first down at the 45. One more time. Waters this time tripped up after a gain of 1. Robert Griffith, number 24, makes the tackle. Second down.
Again, they still need those 2 scores, even with a 2-point play. 7:43, so they have to be thinking about scoring and scoring relatively quickly.
Back split, Waters right, Turner left. Here comes the blitz. Hot receiver is Waters. He makes the grab and gets to the 41.
Well, we've seen some good, smart quarterback play tonight, Mark. I mean, we saw Brad Johnson a moment ago, that time with Ty Detmer. Seeing, feeling the rush and dumping it off.
That's just reading the blitz and responding to it and having your back on the same page. When that guy comes off the edge, be ready for the football. It's a hot.
Third down.
Big third down for the Philadelphia offense. Their biggest tonight.
3rd and 5. Waters will sit this one out. Charlie Garner, Kevin Turner in the backfield.
And I think you got to look for Irving Fryer.
He's wide left. Now in motion, blitz coming. Detmer is hit as he lets it go. John Randall was part of the party. Fernando Smith was also there.
I think they're going to have to. I think they, you know, they still need 2 scores, right? So they're going to have to go for it here. He is looking for Irving Fryer and John Randall. He is going to get you at some point. Yeah, they are going to go for it. Now, the receivers must go at least 6 yards.
The Eagles are perfect 4 of 4 this season on 4th down. Blitz again. Detmer drills it. Timpson, first down at the 21.
Oh, clutch play. Clutch offensive line blocking, clutch read by Detmer, and a good route by Michael Timpson. Good ball game. Good ball game.
Timpson with his 6th grab tonight. That's a gain of 20 on 4th down and a first down at the 21. Chad Lewis brings the play in. Mark Say leaves. Fryer goes wide to the left. He works against Dwayne Washington. Garner's still the running back. Intercepted by Washington. That's his 2nd tonight.
And on that play, Ty Detmer tried to force that ball in there, but Dwayne Washington read him like a book. He was watching his eyes, stepped in front of the receiver, and it's his second interception of the night.
Yeah.
And Foge Fazio's defense, they're bending, but never breaking and coming up with big plays. Watch Dwayne Washington. There he is. He turns the balls right behind Irving Fryer. A poorly thrown pass.
Under 6 to go.
Well, Philadelphia's going to get at least one more chance, but they need 2 scores. You know, that missed 2-point conversion, critical at this point in the ball game.
And recall on the 2-point conversion, Marseille opened deep in the end zone, and Detmer just two feet behind him.
As he was in that pass. I mean, he's played so well at times tonight, but that ball was poorly thrown. Easy interception for Washington.
2nd and 8.
The real test for Minnesota's offensive line. Can you run the football when everybody here knows you're going to try to run it?
Here comes the blitz. Jake Reed, first down.
Unbelievable. How do you stop Jake Reed? A timing pattern like that, there's no way that Troy Vincent can stop that.
Well, you know, throwing the ball to him is as good as running the ball. I mean, he's been that good tonight. And I think the best thing you can do is try to get him on the line of scrimmage some and don't let him get started. But he is just so strong. 124 yards and a touchdown on just 5 receptions.
And he has become the first player in the history of this franchise to go over 100 yards receiving in 4 consecutive games.
Whoops.
Johnson, broken play. Well, Ty Detmer won the battle with Rodney Peete to become a starter. And what an emotional night it's been for him. This was after a misconnect with Ricky Waters. Detmer and Waters get in each other's face. And then after the interception, the continued frustration.
And I'll tell you what, Ty Detmer, you've got to respect him. We talked to Joe Panos the other day, and he said that he's the type of guy, when he takes a big lick from a defender, he'll get right back in their face and say, hey, nice hit. But he's not going to back down from it. He headbutted one of the Carolina Panthers last year, the linebacker Lamar Lathan. And Lamar Lathan's 6'3", 250 pounds. So he has what it takes to be a quarterback in the NFL. He's a great leader, and guys will follow him.
Well, exasperation tonight. Next Sunday night, we are in Chicago as Mike Ditka and the New Orleans Saints come back in for round 1 of the Peyton Manning Bowl. The Bears winless again. There are other contenders. These are not the semifinals. But the Saints and the Bears, and there will be some commotion at Soldier Field when Mike Ditka comes back to Chicago. 2nd down and 9. Blitz. Johnson left side. Reed again.
This time on Bobby Taylor. Pretty good coverage. I mean, there's several guys around the league that even though the coverage is still throwing the ball. Michael Irvin, Ben Coates, Chris Carter, and now Jake Reed has developed into that kind of receiver. When he's covered, he's open. Throw him the ball. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Mark and I understand it.
Yeah.
Frightening.
Look at that, 22 yards a catch.
Chris Walsh in the lineup now. Hunter Goodman goes tight to the right. 1st and 10. Under 4 to go. Hollis Thomas makes the tackle.
And he's played a pretty good game tonight. He's got lots of penetration in the passing game. He's done a heck of a job on the running game, as you just saw. Penetration in the backfield, drops Robert Smith for a short gain. Or actually a loss.
Loss of 1 back to the 42-yard line, and the Eagles take their 2nd time out. Well, Philadelphia has lost by 1 and won by 1 in their previous 2 games, and they trail 28-19 right now. Chasing both the Redskins and the Cowboys winners today in the NFC East.
Well, Ray Rhodes, by his own will be responsible for a couple of wins this year. Gotten 2 10-win seasons out of probably 8-win talent over the last couple of years.
2nd and 11. Minnesota, in the meantime, trying to go 3-2 and jump into a tie with the Packers and Detroit, chasing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are undefeated. This one, and Chris Carter has just caught the 700th reception of his career. 14 yards.
What do you do? I mean, these guys have been covered the last couple of plays. Good coverage up here on the top again by Troy Vincent. The man's not open. He just out rebounds him. You know, he's a power forward.
And not only that, the way that he can use his body, turned it, twisted, get position is amazing.
700 for Chris Carter. Robert Smith. Hollis Thomas. And a chorus.
But this is the time of game where you hang your hat on the big guys up front. And not only the big guys, I'm talking about the real big guys in right tackle Corey Stringer. But he's a huge, huge specimen. And I mean a specimen.
Yeah, but he's playing pretty good, too. You know, he's kind of like Nate Newton. You make fun of his size, but he's playing pretty well.
Yeah, but Pat, I played for the Hogs, and we were supposed to be pretty good.
You were.
We were supposed to be pretty big.
Yeah.
And this guy, he would have made maybe 2 hogs, at least a hog and a half.
Hog and a half.
2nd and 4. Johnson. Oh, my goodness. Flag is down.
Yeah,
this one might go against Reed.
Yeah, I don't know. That certainly wasn't defensive pass interference. As many passes these wide receivers from Minnesota have caught, this pretty good coverage by Bobby Taylor and Troy Vincent, don't you think? They've been on these guys.
Face mask.
After the incomplete pass,
right
there was a personal foul, face mask, by the offense, number 86. That's a 15-yard penalty. The down counts, and it's 3rd down.
Ed Hockley, the referee, is getting more airtime tonight than Larry King.
Not on our network.
.210 to go, and they mark off the penalty. Across the 50, back to the 47.
Okay, Minnesota, Mark, is going to, I mean, you're going to have to outscore these guys. What I mean by that, by scoring 30 a game, because they can put points up on the board. They can get their defense to play well like they have tonight. They are capable of beating any team in the National Football League. There are no dominant teams right now. These guys, they're not the best. I'm not saying that, but they can beat anybody.
Carter comes left. Johnson, good pickup, goes deep for Carter. Bobby Taylor and Carter in a shoving match.
I get the feeling that Chris Carter thinks he should catch everything no matter where it's thrown. I mean, there is a very large strike zone to that guy.
Absolutely right. And what's amazing is Brad Johnson will loft that ball out there, and Carter and Reed will make adjustments to it and always come back for the football, where the defender has no chance, because 1, he can't out-jump him, and 2, he's not looking at the football. He's looking at them.
Mitch Berger on to punt again. Mike Morris is the snapper. And a fair catch. Called by Mark Say. And we have 1:58 left in regulation. Minnesota Vikings trying to go 3-2 for the season. Have the lead.
Well, with the Vikings leading this game on 2 separate occasions, we have seen Ty Detmer and Ricky Waters have to be separated on the sidelines. I talked to the Eagles staff, and I was told that it is just Ricky being Ricky. They went up to Ty Detmer and said, listen, you know how animated Ricky is. He yells when we win. He yells when we lose. He yells if we tie. However, Detmer did take exception of it. But the coaching staff went to Ty and said, just relax. It's just Ricky being Ricky.
All right, Craig, thank you. Ricky is in the backfield now. Ricky as in Waters, Ty as in Detmer. There's Waters. And he steps out of bounds to stop the clock. The Eagles have only one timeout left.
Say one thing, Ty Detmer knows he cannot win this ball game or any other without that guy, number 32, Ricky Waters.
And I don't go along with just Ricky being Ricky. I think that's, you know, that's too much for a team to absorb, particularly young players. It's too much of a distraction when that happens on the sideline.
Well, you know, they've battled with his volatility now for 3 years.
Detmer back, steps up. Gets rid of it. Incomplete at the 25. Ty Detmer with a nice job.
Yeah, you're right. That was a nice job. I mean, he lost the handle on the ball there for a while. I mean, the man has been under duress all evening, not only from Ricky Waters, but from the other guys, the Minnesota Vikings.
And those guys are the enemies.
Yeah.
3rd and 8, 1:46 to go in regulation. Think back of the single critical play. It had to be the muffed punt by Mark Say that set up a 16-yard drive for the Minnesota Vikings. Here comes the rush. They got Detmer. There's a fumble. Loose ball, scramble at the 10. Eagles recover, but it'll be 4th down.
Well, Ty Detmer is a tough quarterback, but he's not going to survive a 16-game schedule like this.
He's been fortunate tonight. That's the 3rd fumble by Ty Detmer, but that's the 3rd time one of his offensive linemen has been able to pick it up and recover it for him.
Yeah, he's saying don't punt it. He's right.
4th sack tonight and 4th down for Ray Rhodes and the Vikings with 1:10 remaining.
Oh boy, do they miss Chris T. Jones in situations like this. All 6'3" of Chris T. Jones.
4th and 16. John Randall.
We've talked about John Randall from the open of this game until the final whistle. We'll talk about him. But this is his biggest play of the game, and it came at the most appropriate time. Excellent hustle by John Randall getting to the quarterback. He waited for a big play, and there's the dance of a winner.
Randall gets the 5th Viking sack tonight. And here comes Minnesota with a 1st and goal.
And that makes 17 on the year for Minnesota. They've been horrible against the rush, but they have put pressure on passers.
Ellen Johnson, Brad's mom from Black Mountain, North Carolina, leads the applause. In the final 40 seconds.
No screaming going on there.
2nd down. So the Vikings, who host the Redskins next, go to 3-2, and they climb into a tie with the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions, all 3 chasing the undefeated Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ray Rhodes and Denny Green, coaches together on the staff of the 49ers in the late 80s. And Minnesota, Detroit, and Green Bay climb into a 3-way tie for 2nd in the Central. The Philadelphia Eagles fall to 1-3. Beg your pardon, Minnesota has at Arizona next. It's the Eagles who have Washington. My error. And let's go down and check in with Craig Sager.